X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time.
Can you see it? All the ones who drag my name every single day. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? They keep saying you don't have what it takes to carve out your own name underneath the shadows of gods. And I keep waiting for the day disbelievers say I flew way too close to the sun. I wait, but it never really comes. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. The spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. The force that compels all to rebel from all that shackled minds. Why do they just stand there against when they fall from the battles I have overcome? You feel it, feel the cope and the seething tone that they make while I stand up, man among gods. And I keep thinking with my mill, shooting ropes in my cold that faces towards the sun. They hate, but I'm sitting comfy with their mom. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all that shackled mind. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all that shadowed minds. It's you and me, your mom, it's me. I'll take another hit from my name. You see now, watch me not now, punch your things now. Show you how.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, hello. And that's right, that is in fact World of Warcraft music that you're hearing right now, and you're gonna like it. You're gonna like it. We're doing WoW music today. Welcome! It is so good to see all of you. Welcome, welcome. What's up, Ride the Rails, Sorlem, War Penguin, Mythdetrius 985, Astronaut Lad 172, Grazza Triton, Stella, Cute Bunny Chan 98, Jard Gone Postal, Zawarm Chills, Prancing Goldfish, what's up, Lord Rose 97. I don't think I've said hi to you yet. I'm just here, 029. How are ya? Redux, good to see you. Bazooka Horse, how are you? Trans Daughter of Water, good to see ya. You can't disable subcolor and keep your sub? Ah, damn, that sucks. What's up, Moody Mooney? Recovering from wisdom tooth removal. No dry sockets so far. That's good to hear. I had my wisdom teeth taken out around 2019. It was pretty early on in my streaming career, and I actually did a few streams right after I got my wisdom teeth out. But as time went by and I ran out of the painkillers they gave me, it was Vicodin, by the way, it started to hurt more. Like not really hurt, but be a little more sore. And so it was actually a little later into recovery where I felt like I needed to recover, if that makes sense. Just found out that opening song is actually about you, and that's baller as hell. Yes, it is, Lance. It was made by the band Sweet Myths. They made it for me as a surprise for my birthday, like 3 years ago, maybe? 2? I hope you like it. Trans Daughter of Water, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Thank you for the $5 dues. Says, getting my sub back. I'm going to disable the sub color to keep my name orange. Apparently you can't do that, sadly. We definitely need that to be a feature, though. We'll definitely... I'll write that down. We'll have to write that down. Grazza Triton, thank you for the tier 1 gifted sub to Trans Daughter of Water. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for the $5 dues. Didn't say anything, but I really appreciate it, and I hope Trans Daughter of Water does too. Pepper T21, thank you for the $5 dues as well. Thank you. It means so much. Sent a YouTube link. Nope. Sorry, Pepper T21. Everything you send gets my stream demonetized or sometimes even taken down for copyright. You're just constantly sending like copyrighted anime clips. If it's Sonic, it's probably okay, which is insane when you consider I think Sonic's like a Nintendo, no, Sega. Regardless. That was a Dragon Ball clip that was going to absolutely nuke the stream if I showed it. Mead Demix, thank you for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. Says, Zan, I saw so many thirst posts for that Luigi fella. Yeah, people love Luigi. He's the tall one. Says, so I see how Jeffrey Dahmer got his fans. Poor comparison, I know, but it's got the same vibe. I wouldn't say it's anywhere near close, but... I mean, I guess I see where you're coming from, I suppose. I won't be... Yeah, I'll try to get it. People will glorify murderers? I don't think it's the same thing, but I know what the point is, that it feels the same. Brett Cooper quit the Daily Wire. Oh my god, are we finally free of that dumb bitch's dumb takes? Her videos are some of the bottomest of the barrel, like, right-wing content. It's just centered around kind of, like, making fun of libs. There's not really any arguments made, so there's not much to respond to. Is she finally just dipping out? I'm not cheering for CEO death, but I sure as hell am not shedding any tears. That's a good way of putting it for me as well, Ninetails Fox 2. Is she going more far right or making a why I left the right? I would expect, if anything, she'd retire, but she might go more far right. That would be the second more likely scenario. Damn you for forcing me to use my old Twitter account to log in. Shakes fist. Damn you! Oh, did you make your account on here with Twitter? Yeah, you might want to switch it to something else. Zan, you just called a woman a bitch. President Sunday is going to make 13 videos trying to cancel you. Yeah, but the thing about that is it takes about 13 President Sunday videos to get as many views as, like, the average of my videos. So, I can't really be too upset about that, you know? Bro's got to make his money. He's got to get his grind out, right? Someone's got to pay for all that liquor. Who is President Sunday? A greasy man who does not like me. Murder is bad. Shouldn't encourage or glorify violence because it's only time. It's only time until... Oh, it's... The time will come when it gets turned back on you. Yes. Yes, okay. You worded that very weirdly, Redux. I think you wanted to say the time will come, and you just kind of... You just kind of didn't. You didn't. How close are you to 105k subs? We're at 104.5k right now. So probably the day after tomorrow, assuming none of the uploads, like, blow up and get, like, 100k views or 50k views overnight. It happens. Assuming that doesn't happen, then it'll be, like, the day after tomorrow. But, like, if tomorrow morning's upload or tomorrow afternoon's upload pops the fuck off, there's a good chance we hit 105k tomorrow. It's happened fairly regularly, where there's just a massive spike because one video pops off. The way YouTube's algorithm works is on a video by video basis, not a channel by channel basis. Some things are like a channel based thing. Like I think your what's the it's like CPM, I think it's called, the statistic for like how much money an ad view makes. That I think is a channel by channel thing. But as for like video performance, like you can just upload whatever you want. Like I could upload, theoretically, if I wanted to, I think I could just upload like a gaming video tomorrow, have it tank, and that's fine because the next video can be a politics video that can explode. Murder is bad, denying thousands coverage for life, saving healthcare is really bad. True. From life-saving healthcare, yeah. Yeah, true. True. Xanderhall, you deserve 1 million subs minimum. Oh my god, that is a hell of a compliment. You are way more interesting to watch than most other streamers. I wouldn't say I'm all that interesting compared to, like... I mean, there's a lot of streams and streamers that are more interesting. But I would say that I would definitely consider myself one of the more entertaining people in the political space, and that is if you are counting the right. There are definitely, I think the people on the left are more entertaining, generally speaking, and I don't think I'm like the most entertaining lefty political streamer, but I think if you like lay out the entire deck, including right-wing pundits, I'm pretty up there, because goddamn, I snore my way through some of those right-wing videos these days. It's hard. It is hard to watch them. They're really boring. You're definitely one of, if not the best, political streamer. That is crazy. I really do appreciate the sentiment, though, Moody Mooney. Don't sell yourself short, man? I wouldn't say I'm selling myself short. I will say every content creator or person who does, like, things that does not have an enormous ego deals with imposter syndrome and questions their, like, deservedness of where they've gotten. That is a very, very common, thing. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's like selling myself short. I think it's just how most people kind of they try to be internally, mentally humble about the things they achieve. Unless they have a massive ego, like someone like Jake or Logan Paul or like Andrew Tate. I can relate to you in age, character, opinions, and you are entertaining. That's why I enjoy watching you. Oh, thank you, Everglow. YouTube just sent me the stream notification. Hell yeah, I'm glad they're doing it. That's the good shit. That's the good shit. Thank you. I'm practically in your house. I'm in your walls, Kirk Beams. I hope you know that. I'm skittering around in there. You hear those creaks and cracks and moans throughout your house you hear in the middle of the night that you just chalk up to being the wind or some sort of house settling thing? That's me in your walls. That's me moving around, repositioning, finding a better vantage point to watch you from. Because I'm always there. I'm there right now. This is a pre-recorded stream. I hope you know that. Practically everyone has imposter syndrome when new to doing something people give them money for. I don't even think it's a new thing, right? Like, have you ever spoken to an artist? Like any artist? I'm friends with a good amount, and none of them will accept a compliment about their art. They will not allow it. They will not allow it, dude. Get out of my walls, Xander Hall? Oh no, I'm not leaving. I'm there for good. I'm there forever. Someone's in YouTube chat wants to debate you about TYT. Xander Hall, if I can get Discord to work for me, are you open to a civil discussion / debate about the Young Turks? I would actually love to do that. Would you be down to do it tomorrow, though? Because I've got 5 segments that are going to probably take me about 6 to 5 hours to do. And I want to get to bed fairly early tonight. But after segments tomorrow, and I've got about 4 I plan to do tomorrow, I want to play some WoW. And while playing WoW on stream, that is the perfect game to bring somebody into call to do a conversation or debate. There's very little I got to worry about while fishing in WoW, so... That would be very good timing if you're free tomorrow. Same time. I stream at the same time every day, so you know when I'll be live. You watch all my streams, so you'll know when I'll be live. It's been a hot minute since we've last had a live debate. I know, I think the last one was me, as many people in the comments said, quote-unquote, buck breaking Shadow Raven Studios, who is still so mad about it that, like, nearly 6 months later, he keeps making alts called All Leftist Men Should Be Castrated, and he comes into the stream to spam several times every single stream, and every account gets banned. He's on at least, like, his 60th plus Google account he's made with the name Leftist Men Should Be Castrated. When I talk about how I attract the, like, really deranged haters, like the fucked in the head type, I'm not joking or exaggerating or, like, trying to sanity or I guess crazy wash my opponents. I really do mean that, like, at a certain point, I'm as crazy as them if I don't just say it. If I don't just say these are insane people. Actual Zan derangement syndrome. These guys who talk about castrating people probably couldn't castrate a hog without puking. I don't think they could castrate anything, to be honest. I don't think they could castrate a frog. How does anyone keep making that many emails? Like, how do you even remember that many emails? They probably use a password manager. You gotta understand, the types of people that we're talking about here are so deranged, they buy software to facilitate this. Because when you're a conservative, first and foremost, you hate the left. Then all the conservative culture war stuff. So these types of people who are, like, hyper deep into conservatism, their entire online life, like, they have programs and softwares they've bought and like hundreds of accounts they've made, sometimes thousands of hours they've spent just fucking with lefties online. They put an immense amount of work into it because the core tenet of conservatism is the left is the enemy and it must be destroyed. They're obsessed with you. The right is obsessed with you if you are progressive. What brand of vape do I use? It's called Flyclip. Flyclip 6000. Cool mint. I'm a cool mint guy. I like my cool mint. If you don't like it, then you can just get out. I'm a mint guy. It's called Strawberry Cough. Well, you're having yourself some weed by the sounds of it. Strawberry Cough is a weed strain. This is nicotine. I quit weed about a year ago now. Oh man, do I miss it. I hope that, like, there's a heaven so that when I die, I get to smoke weed forever. Like, a good heaven would be, like, a really nice little, like, apartment with a nice view out of some big windows. And I got, like, the best gaming PC in the world. Or, I guess, in heaven. And I just use it to get stoned and play classic WoW all day. And on top of that, I have, like, a weed volcano vaporizer that never runs out. It's already full, it's always full of non-stale weed vapor, and it never runs out. It's always full. You just hit it whenever you feel like it, for eternity. I don't know. If God is real, let's hope that he's cool enough to make a heaven that awesome. That sounds pretty fun. Add a cute tall girl with glasses and a great personality and it's heaven. I know what you mean when you say personality, and you're disgusting for that, Terrell. You fool, I have 1 billion alt accounts. Real. Reminds me, hear me out, Zan. Jesus was a long-haired dude who was probably an anarchist of some sort and did supernatural shit. Bro is definitely a stoner. I think Jesus Christ was just a stoner who came along and gave the people mushrooms. And they were like, oh. Well. It would have probably actually been like peyote cactus or something. I don't know. I think that's only in North America. If I achieve godhood, I will reincarnate you into classic WoW. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you do. I hope you do. Weed comes from Eurasia? It could have worked its way over. Same, connected. Continents are connected. It could have worked its way over. It is called weed, after all. It grows pretty fast, right? How do you remain the hottest person in left-wing online spaces in the universe in general? Well, I'm actually not putting up my best face today. I've got like an acne thingy right here and right here and right here. I gotta take care of that. I gotta scrub the shit out of that part of my face extra hard. 322 represents what Jesus would do to modern conservatives? Yeah, probably. I'm not going to look into it, but probably. I'll take your word for it, Wild Rose. Playing Marvel Rivals, it's so fun. I've heard everybody's loving it. I'm glad. Not my cup of tea. I've seen some gameplay. It doesn't really look like it's up my alley, but I'm glad people are enjoying it. Seems fun. I'm glad that Marvel gaming fans are having something that they can play together online on PC that can be like a big sensation. Sort of like a Fortnite level thing for Marvel fans. I guess Fortnite's done that a few times, but y'all know what I mean. My friend in the Netherlands would call Zan a Mog. Would they now? Zan, why? Because I'm hot, Perry Icefire, that's why. I'm young and I'm hot, and I want to enjoy being young and hot while I am, okay? Time is ticking away. And one day, I'm not going to be able to do this and rizz up the bitches anymore. It's not going to work, alright? So I'm gonna mog the chat while I can, alright? Because one day I'm gonna be old man Zan, I'm gonna be sitting here streaming, I'm gonna have gray hair, I'm gonna have crow's feet, and I'm gonna have wrinkles and like laugh lines that are like deep and defined, and I'm not gonna be able to hit that, I'm not gonna be able to hit that pose anymore. Look. You think I'm gonna be able to do that when I'm like 80? Come on. I gotta enjoy it while I can. Is there any chance that you could do some deep knee bends and jumping jacks in a very tight-fitted spandex bodysuit? Simone says that is possibly the most gooner comment I've gotten in my chat, and I'm pretty sure, I forget who it is, but there's someone in my website chat that regularly just gooner posts about me. Just goons my entire stream. Yeah, I think it might be TSW Shadow Wolf. Just gooning the whole stream. Do you like narrative-heavy games? Yeah, sure. I really love FF14, and that's one of the most narrative-heavy games, like, there is. Although it's not like a, I guess, point-and-click story game, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's one of the most, but it's a very story-heavy game. Everything about the game, as an MMO, is centered around facilitating the story, and oh my god, is it, like, experiencing all of FF14 is a lot like breaking through on a psychedelic drug. Like, you come out of it a genuinely different person than you went in. That shit will change you. I like Dragonflight well enough, but there were some pretty big issues with it that are just like WoW retail-centric issues. I don't know if War Within has fixed them yet. I've deliberately avoided War Within and won't be playing it until like the downtime of the current phase for Classic. Once I'm maxed out on my levels and my professions, and I'm just waiting for raids to come out. Once I've done all that, I'll try out War Within. And what really matters to me is if I, as a player starting the new expansion late, go in and have the discombobulating, fucked experience that Blizzard has, like, pushed onto late adopting players of an expansion for years now, I'm just going to dip out and not play the new expansion. I'm going to stick to Classic. Because I tried to get my buddy into retail back in Dragonflight, and he was like, okay, so what do I do now? Because it's trying to push, like, 4 different quest lines on me right now for the MSQ, and they're all out of order. It's like chapters, but I have to, like, hunt down which one to do. Why is this so discombobulated? It's like it wants to fast-track me to the current thing, and it doesn't want me to enjoy the content that came out, like, even a few months ago. Like, you have to be on the current stuff. They're trying to get you there as fast as possible. And that's not something I like about retail, and I hope that's changed in War Within. We'll see. We will see when I play it. But for now, I am a classic Andy. Oh boy, am I loving some classic WoW. It goes so hard. I would love to play World of Warcraft, but there's a lot of reading. Reading is not my strong suit. What do you mean there's a lot of reading, Critical Ox? No, there's not. You just use the like, quest reader add-on. That's the only reading you would need to do, really. You can just use an add-on that you just one-click install through CurseForge. And here, TTS quests mod WoW Classic. This is what I use, and while I'm questing, I know One Piece. I know you sent a super chat. It's okay. I don't have to read it the instant you send it. It's okay. I see it. I see it. Oh yeah, here's Asmongold, the WoW guy, or he used to be the WoW guy. Now he's the Chud streamer, the biggest Chud streamer on Twitch. This is his reaction to this add-on. It does use AI, but I'm gonna be real with you. I don't care. I don't care. It's a very handy mod, and no one's making money off of it. It just makes WoW Classic and experiencing the story more enjoyable. Check this out.
Okay, let's turn this in, see what happens.
Hey, citizen, you look like a stout one. We guards are spread a little thin out here, and I could use your help. Ah, good. Another volunteer? We're getting a lot of you these days.
Wow.
I hope it's enough.
The Brackwells have a prize-winning pig, Princess. The sow is huge, and she got that way from sneaking over here and eating my veggies. So before she comes to our fields, Princess must die. Bring me her collar as proof of the deed, and I'll give you something for your time.
All right,
Here
let's
you
go turn these in.
And when you give this pie to that Billy,
I'm almost gonna
you
be
tell
level
him
7
I hope
too.
he chokes on it.
What the fuck?
I love how, like, some of the line delivery is so janky because it is AI voiced, but man, is it better than not having it? Because otherwise, you're just killing pigs or whatever, and you're like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm doing it. In this, it's like, well, now you know. You can actually follow the story. It's actually quite cool, the story of Classic, too. So yeah, no reading necessary. And if you're, like, resistant to getting into Classic WoW and playing it in my guild, perhaps, because you're, like, a new player, if you've never played it, and you're like, I'm scared of learning it, I don't think I'd be able to learn. Trust me, you'd be able to learn. And we would love, absolutely love to teach you the game. I love teaching new players and getting new players into WoW. So if you want to join my guild, because me and Ethan started up a guild for Classic WoW on the fresh 20th anniversary servers that are going to be going from vanilla all the way to at least Cataclysm, or sorry, Mists of Pandaria, probably all the way to Modern Expansion. So this is like, oh wow, they've re-released WoW from day one. You can get in from day one and do the journey for as long as you want to. We might stop at Wrath. How much is WoW? It's only $15 to play Classic WoW. After a month, your sub will lapse, and you can pay for another $15 for another month if you want to, and you're really liking the game. Trust me, you'll like it. Shit, that's cheap? Yeah. Classic WoW doesn't require you to pay for any new expansions or anything. It's just the having an active sub, and you can play Classic. Which is, to be honest, better. Like, I just play Classic, so... Here's the link to the Discord for my guild if you guys are interested. The more people who want to join, the better. With Classic WoW especially, the more the merrier. Do you know how many people it takes to raid in Classic WoW? 40. 40 fucking people is what it takes to raid in Classic WoW. We need a lot of manpower. So if you even have considered trying out WoW, and you like this soothing music of the human starting zone, which you will not be experiencing because our guild is on Horde, then please consider joining the Discord for the World of Warcraft guild. I'm scared of hardcore. It's not on hardcore, Lance. It's not on hardcore. We're playing on the not RP PvP, just the new normal fresh PvP server that is progressing all the way. We're at least gonna go all the way to Wrath. We're gonna take down that motherfucker Arthas the Lich King. We're taking that motherfucker down. We're gonna get him. All right, we're gonna get him. Is there a tank support class I like doing both? Yes, there actually is. It's called Paladin. Although Horde can't play Paladin, so I guess instead you would want to go Shaman? Because Shaman can tank. I'm pretty sure. I think Shaman can tank. Let me know if... I've never played a Shaman, guys. I don't know if Shamans can tank. I think they can, but they can definitely support. I know they can heal your ass, because I've been healed by Shamans before. And I think they've got totems that they put down that can let them tank, or something like that. I just want to be a healer. In that case, you should either go Priest, or Druid, or Shaman, or... I mean, you could also go Engineering, or like, use... Like, Engineering profession, you could heal, even if you're not a class that can heal. Classic WoW is very deep. It lets you do things you wouldn't be, like, expect to be able to do. It's a bit like, Baldur's Gate 3 in that way, where it's like, it's so deep. On a surface level, it looks pretty simple. But then once you've played it, you're like, holy shit. This is a deep goddamn game. I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3, but I know. And you're like, oh my god, the things you can do in this game, the, like, amount of options and possibilities and ways you can do things and handle situations and build your character is absolutely insane. Classic WoW is the same way. And you're constantly blown away by the fact that it is a 20-year-old game. Can I play a healing tank? Not on Horde, because Horde can't play Paladins, but in Classic WoW, yes, you can. Although I think Shaman might be a heal... I think Shaman can tank. I think Shaman would be your healer tank that you could play on Horde. Listen, the last Blizzard game was Diablo 2. Is it a lot like that? Yes. Like, Classic WoW, or Vanilla WoW, which is what Classic WoW is, and Diablo 2 came out in the same era of Blizzard. They're very much alike. Welcome, new people, to the guild. Where do I find guild info for Zan on the Discord? Guild info. Shamans can tank and heal. Hell yeah, Skinny Mini. Thanks for the info. According to Google, Shamans can fully tank 5-mans, 10-mans, off-tank, and main tank raids. Whatever the fuck that means. Yeah, it just means they can straight up tank. And I know for a fact they can heal. So yeah, you can play as a healer tank. You just play Shaman. And Shaman, I hear, is a fun class. Everyone I've heard that plays Shaman loves playing Shaman. I've never played it, but it sounds hella fun. And I know that you can, like, buff everyone's weapons, too. So, buff everyone's weapons if you join the guild. Please. Where can I go to buy it, lol? You're gonna want to go to Battle.net. That's the... Here, I'll put a link to get it, I guess. Join the Discord first if you're interested. And then ask around in there, and they will get you on it, okay? That is the place to go. I will get you on it tonight after stream if none of them have. Also, you'll want to whisper me in-game to get a guild invite if you're online. I'm not online right now, but if I am, and I am a lot, so whisper me, and I'll send you a guild invite. Ethan can too. You can whisper Ethlo in-game. E-T-H-L-O. Yeah, that's how he spells it. His character name is funny. Battle.net is Blizzard's version of Steam. Yes, it is. You gotta download the Battle.net launcher, and you'll probably want to get CurseForge too. If you mod Minecraft, then you probably already have it. It'll directly hook up to WoW, and you want to just make sure you're installing add-ons for WoW Classic, and you just browse through and one-click install them. But the add-ons are super handy, like that voiceover add-on for quests, super handy. One's called Questy, and it marks all the quest locations and, like, what mobs you need to kill and stuff on the map like Modern WoW does. Kind of a necessity if you don't want to have to be, like reading or listening through all the quest text to try to figure out and geolocate where you need to go and what you need to kill and how many of them you need to kill. That kind of thing. Bartender is a good add-on for managing, like, your UI. The only thing I don't like about WoW is the fact that there isn't Asian/Eastern stuff. The other is being a tiefling or devil-like creature, but I can deal. Perry Icefire, are you aware of Draenei and Mists of Pandaria? Those just don't exist in Classic WoW because we hadn't gotten to those expansions yet. In Burning Crusade, we get the Draenei, who are cloven-hooved goat people that are with horns. And then in Mists of Pandaria, we go to China, basically. And there are panda people. Oh yeah, warriors are the best tanks in classic WoW, for a more perfect America. I only know so much about WoW, so I'm most likely talking out of thin air. Fair, fair, fair. Maybe I could level an alt character on stream. I know most of you guys would not watch that, but let me tell you something, we don't care. The people who would hopefully stick around, and maybe we could get a bunch of people brought onto the guild through that. That could be fun. It's a me, a Luigi. Xanderhall, yes, WoW, but pro in World of Warcraft. The only time I ever played WoW, which was ages ago, and I stopped because my computer was a literal computer, I played as a panda guy in Fantasy China. Yep, that was Miss Pandaria, or something after it. I'm a Luigi. Alright. PepperT21, thank you so much for the $5 dues. I really appreciate that. So kind of you. Said, okay, here. A non-copyrighted stream clip where a guy fucks around with ChatGPT.
I made ChatGPT into a lost Victorian child and fed them a Costco hot dog. I actually got that hot dog you ordered.
Shall we enjoy this glizzy? The flavors dance upon my palate like fireworks in the night sky. I am moved to tears by the sheer magnificence of this gastronomic wonder.
I made ChatGPT into a lost Victorian
I honestly have thought about using a plugin that would let, like, donations be read out by TTS, and it would be in Trump's voice. I don't know how you guys would feel about that, because the whole AI voice thing, but I feel like it would be pretty fucking funny. Like, especially if I were doing, like, a hardcore classic WoW stream, where I could, like, laugh too hard, lose my track of attention, die, and lose a character forever from dying. It would probably be hysterical to have TTS on, with, like, Trump voice reading it out. That would probably go crazy. If something is funny enough, you get to ignore these sorts of arguments, do it? I guess so, true. It is true. If something is funny enough, then all morals go out the window, and you have a responsibility to do the funny thing. That is how all philosophers came to an agreement, historically. None of them disagree on that. Don't split your ribs again. I don't know if my ribs are separated or if I have inflammation between them, but there's definitely something wrong. I stretched in the shower a few days ago before stream, and I thought the hot water would, like, loosen up my muscles, and it's like, how much of this is, like, damage to the connective tissue between my ribs? How much of this is just my muscles being fucked up? Because, to be fair, I was coughing a lot when I had COVID. You know, my muscles could be a little fucked up. They could be still, like, strained and tightened even after, like, a year plus at this point, right? And so I thought I'd go for a little bit of a risky stretch in the hot water in the shower. My ribs started to hurt again, and have continued to hurt again since then, but hurt slightly less. So I'm definitely back on the track of recovery, but I need to go back to not lifting my arms above my head again. And not, like, jutting my chest out. I gotta be careful, because I actually have very good posture. A lot of gamers struggle with this, where they, like, slouch over the it also doesn't feel good to do that. Where they slouch over, like, their computer and stuff. I actually don't do that. I lean back, and I like to put my shoulders back if I can. But with this, I can't put them back as far as I like to. And so I have to have this, like, weird, not quite slouched posture, not quite fully shoulders back and chest out posture, but, like, just this. It's, like, very middle of the line, where it doesn't hurt. Anyway, thank you for the $5 dues. I appreciate it. That was pretty funny, PepperT21. And hi, Very! Thank you for the $5 donos. I appreciate that. Says, I have never been so disillusioned with the online left. Thanks for being the last real one. Yeah, I'm the last Samurai. Thank you for the $5. Perry Icefire, thank you for the $5 dues. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Says, Zan, I still need to talk with you about something important in Staff VC, but didn't get the chance. Is there another time where you will be available, and what's the best way to remind you? Oh yes, I forgot about that. I am so sorry. Oh my god, I ADHD'd the shit out of that. Fuck me, dude. Let's do that tonight, so I don't forget. Let's after stream we'll do the call for like Discord organization stuff tonight. Sounds good to me. Samurai, that's crazy. Yep. I need a katana, guys. I need to buy a katana. Why don't I own any swords? How the fuck did I get guns before I got swords? Pepper T21, thank you for the $5 e-dues. I really appreciate that as well. Thank you, thank you. Said, it was an out-of-context commercial. It was them fusing into a Ford Fusion. Yes, that's a real commercial. Sorry, in my defense, it was Mr. Krabs who sent Donkey Kong Joe Rogan. I've just sent CJ Mattis memes. Yes, fair, but, yeah, One Piece and Pepper T, you guys sometimes send me some stuff that's copyrighted. That one was copyrighted. I could just tell. I could sense it. I could sense it in my soul that would have gotten me. Just because something's on YouTube doesn't mean it's okay with YouTube when you stream it. YouTube's got stricter rules with copyright when you stream. Way stricter. Regardless, though, thank you guys for the support. I really do appreciate it. Y'all have been so generous so far. Thank you. You try playing games standing up? I don't have a standing desk, unfortunately, but if I had one, I probably would like regularly switch between standing and sitting. I own nunchucks and hook swords. Might buy some throwing knives soon. Nice. Damn, TSW Shadow Wolf. Hopefully he gets absolutely cracked at the game. My buddy Ethan is pretty good, but he's good at like every game that he plays. I swear to God, that dude just like coasts past me in skill like day one of any game I get him into. It's actually wild. It's so demoralizing. I'm just like, okay, I'm not good at video games. I never will be. I've come to accept that. I hate that coin collectors are mostly right-wing. I had no idea. I used to collect quarters when I was younger. I had this like cardboard state thing. Like it was a cardboard poster that had like all the states in the US on it, and they had like little slots for every quarter, and every state has a quarter associated with it, a state quarter. And so I would collect them as I managed to like get my hands on change. I would search through the quarters and see if there was a new one, and I would add it if there was. And yeah, I think there was also the Sacagawea Golden Dollar was also one, and man, was that a hard one to find, but I did. I don't think I filled out the entire thing. I think there were a good handful of states that I never was able to fill out, but I managed to get the Golden Dollar, and that was a hard one, but I managed to get that shit. I have that too. I have all the states. Hell yeah, Hi Very. I did this with my grandma when I was young. It's a very fond memory of mine. Here, a meme for my $1 super chat. Oh, did I miss it? Oh yeah, I see it now. Mr. Krabs, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says I got a short meme for you in chat. Let's hope this one's not copyrighted.
We have no chance.
Okay, this one won't be copyrighted. We're safe. We're good. Let's see what this is. He's evil on Sal. Is this the guy? This is the guy who does the pissing on the moon thing, isn't it? I could just tell from his voice.
We have no chance if we do the evil objective.
Oh wait, maybe it's not.
Then we cannot finish it, and we have to play this again.
Oh my god.
But that wouldn't happen, right?
That wouldn't happen, right?
Lamau.
Ah! Oh no! Bro, Doofenshmirtz standing in the corner. Damn, and I thought I was evil.
That is a good impression.
Like, I'm
way
evil
better than
full time. He's evil on salary. That's crazy.
We're gonna change the theme instead of Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. Hold on. Shout out the Hedgehog Incorporated. My headcanon is that Doofenshmirtz was on this first ship and he died.
Oh my god.
Every day I wish I had one of the more fun kinds of autism. Every day. I hope y'all know that. I'm a Greg. Y'all are Rowleys and I'm a Greg. Y'all have achieved a higher state of being than I'll ever have. No shit, my sister used to have one of those. I took all the quarters and spent it on ice cream. I was 6. You're evil, Critical Ox, and you're gonna go to hell for that. You're gonna end up at the pearly gates, and St. Peter's gonna be like, "Yikes, Critical Ox! You were 6 and you stole all the quarters from your sister's coin collection of states. Yeah, straight to hell. Straight to hell. Yeah, sorry, buddy." Have I not explained all of you guys my Diary of a Wimpy Kid theory of autism? Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should keep my theory to myself. Anyone else peep the vape graveyard? This is actually not a graveyard. These 3 are not dead. Well, they're not empty. They're just dead battery-wise. This one's on the charger. This one has been charged, and so is this one. So I have them right here. My other one's right here. When they die, like run out of juice, they go in the trash. Greg is just evil. I'm not going to explain my theory to you guys right now. I'll do it on my WoW stream. Make sure the haters are bored and not watching. Otherwise, they'll be there watching to clip it. I have a theory. I call it the Diary of a Wimpy Kid theory. Not my Roderick. True. True. Welcome to all the new people who joined the WoW guild that I am starting. Hell yeah. For any that are interested, after all my talking up of it, consider checking out this link and joining the Discord for the guild. Hell yeah. If you enjoy Sonic, you're probably some flavor of autistic. Hell yeah. That's what it's all about. And they are happy because they have nice things. And maybe I'll become a Sonic fan and I'll have the right autism for it. But right now, I'm just not locked in. I'm not locked in. But on Christmas, guys, like I've said, we are celebrating hitting 100K subs. And not to mention, by the way, I got a notification from UPS today in my email, or yesterday night, sorry, that they have received my play button. YouTube has sent it to UPS. They now have it. It is now in transit. It's in like Oklahoma or something, last I checked. And it is on its way. So by Christmas, I will have the silver play button up on my wall right there. And on Christmas, probably Eve and Christmas Day, I will be streaming Sonic Adventure 2. Seemingly the most iconic Sonic game based on all the memes and all the stuff. It seems to be what they're adapting for the new Sonic movie too. So I feel like that kind of coincides really well. And I feel like it'll be a good first Sonic game. I know it's Sonic Adventure 2, but I feel like I know enough about the fundamentals of Sonic's story that I can jump in, you know? I know it won't be everyone's favorite Sonic game, but it's a really popular one. I feel like it's the right choice. I highly recommend that you also play Shadow the Hedgehog, the one where they give Shadow a Glock 19. Yeah, maybe, but we're going to be playing one Sonic game to start with. Maybe I become a fan, we'll see. I'm going to be borrowing your play button. God damn it, no, you're not monotypical. That's my play button. I think I know which one you're talking about, and yeah, I'm hyped. Each Sonic game is made that you can start at any game. Oh, that's good. It won't be discombobulating then. That's good to hear. You're getting a fresh haircut tomorrow, Tommy Brunel. Hell yeah. I'm getting pretty close to needing one because my hair's getting a little long, but I've got a few weeks, I think. I've got like a week and a half before it starts to get scraggly and out of control. I always have to wet my hair, otherwise it frizzes up. I hate it. Especially in this like humid-ass weather. Florida did it to me, and so does Washington. But damn, when I lived in California in that dry-ass desert air, my hair was so well behaved. It just did what I told it to. Did you ever think about growing your hair? Curls would look great, I think. Listen, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I'm gonna hit you all with like the Zan red pill, okay? So, I have never understood how women find guys with curly hair attractive. And I have curly hair. Like Timothy Chalamet or like, I can't think of anyone else at the top of my head. Like, just think of like a guy with curly hair that like is known for being attractive. I've never gotten it. I always thought it has to be like despite the hair. There's no way that girls actually find like floof head hot. There's no goddamn way. And yet they swear on their lives they do. But I hate it. I look at myself and my hair is all curly and I'm just like, I despise this. I don't like it. You know? I feel like I'm rocking the Jesse Eisenberg more than I'm rocking a Timothy Chalamet, I guess. I guess this is the best way to put it. Yeah, I have 3A. I have to wet it, then brush it back, then gel, then more brushing, followed by a pick. Oh yeah. I gotta brush my hair back a lot, because otherwise it puffs down into my eyes and face. I wake up every morning with my hair in my eyes, so you guys can kind of tell I brush it back as much as possible, because I don't want it falling into my face, or even just tickling my forehead. I have this weird sensory thing about my eyebrows and forehead getting tickled by even a strand of errant hair, and I can't take it. I cannot. And when my hair gets really long, it tickles my eyelashes, and I want to crash out. Yeah, Zan, imagine Zan with a buzz cut. I would honestly be happier with a buzz cut, or straight up shaved bald, because I do not like the cumbersomeness of hair, you know? Like, I don't care for it. I think I look better with hair, but I also don't think I'd look bad without it, you know? So I guess yeah. Imagine Zan with a low taper fade. That could go kind of hard. Like a real short fade. That might go real hard, not gonna lie. Inky the Idiot. Maybe Perry Icefire. Maybe. Alrighty. Let me see what we start with today. God, why is it so hard to find a good... Oh, there we go. Now it loads. Well, that's pretty crazy, YouTube. Not gonna lie, it's a pretty crazy decision as far as results go. Here we go.
This news breaking for you overnight. A federal bankruptcy judge has rejected...
No! God, at that point, I don't know what to tell you guys. YouTube was so broken there. I had clicked out of the wrong video. I didn't want to click on that one because it's 30 seconds. I click out of it twice. I've gone back 2 pages, and it's still playing the audio. What is going on with YouTube and Google? Is it my computer? Or are the platforms getting worse? I don't know. I genuinely don't know if it's like my computer getting to be, 8 years old at this point, or if it's like the actual platforms. I cannot tell. It is YouTube? Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. Now YouTube finally stops fucking around. Let's go! Your PC's getting Alzheimer's? Maybe. Maybe. New PC time before the tariffs? Oh. I can't afford a new PC. What are you talking about? All right. You all ready? Because we got some interesting stuff to talk about. Oh no, I accidentally spoiled it. My bad. Well, you all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. Unfortunately, today is going to be a bit of a bad news day. Not a lot of good news to talk about, and one of the better headlines from a couple weeks ago has somehow been flipped into a bad one. You guys know how Alex Jones, following his defamation of the families and victims of a school shooting, got giga-sued and ended up having to file for bankruptcy and lost his company, Infowars? I think basically lost it, right? Or maybe it's like in a suspended state where he doesn't technically own it or not own it. Big deal. A lot of stuff went down. Pretty crazy. Pretty wild stuff, you know? Well, we got some good news a little while ago, and it seemed pretty uplifting. The idea that The Onion, the left-leaning satire news site, was going to be buying Infowars and transforming it into a meme platform that is centered around poking fun at and making fun of and satirizing the types of people who like Alex Jones. This is going to be huge. And frankly, I thought it was going to go through. I thought it was going to happen. But unfortunately, the judge has ruled in Alex Jones's favor. Judge blocks The Onion's purchase of Infowars amid legal battle with Alex Jones. Cannot rely on the legal system to make the right choices or do the right thing. It rarely does these days when it comes to these people, it seems. You gotta remember, even with how much bankruptcy Alex Jones has filed for, he is a right-wing pundit who has been a right-wing pundit online for a long time. He is extremely rich, and he has the money to stop things like this. I honestly think in hindsight, this should have been expected. Alex Jones has been a massive right-wing pundit for a long time. He has an immense amount of money, probably still. And he probably had pretty damn good lawyers, too. His company, Infowars, probably had good lawyers as well. Could have let the funniest thing happen. Unfortunately, we are in Nothing Ever Happens land. That is the name of our timeline. The Nothing Ever Happens timeline. I think it was a Trump-appointed judge. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I would not be surprised if it was a Trump-appointed judge who ruled on this.
Breaking overnight, a judge has blocked The Onion from buying Alex Jones's conspiracy platform, Infowars.
The business was sold back in November as part of a defamation settlement after Jones falsely claimed that the Sandy Hook shooting was a hoax. Your reporter Olivia Schuler live in our studio this morning to explain why a judge blocked that purchase. Olivia.
Hey guys, good morning. Well, the decision to not approve the sale was made by a U.S. bankruptcy judge in Houston. The judge mentioned
Texas.
a few things that we're going to get to in 1 second. There was not problems, but more so wrongdoings in the auction process. The Onion offered $1.75 million in cash and incentives for Infowar assets in the auction. The Onion's bid was backed by the families of 8 victims of the school shooting and 1 first responder. Now, after the sale in November, the Onion planned to kick Jones out and relaunch Infowars in January as a parody. Ben Collins, the CEO of The Onion's parent company, posted on social media saying in part he's disappointed, but The Onion will continue to seek a resolution that helps the Sandy Hook families. Now, Jones, who did not attend the proceedings, went on air to celebrate the decision, calling it the most ridiculous, fraudulent auction known in human history. Meanwhile, here in Connecticut, the lawyer for the Sandy Hook families who sued Jones say families have remained resilient through roadblocks and delays. The statement says in part this doesn't change the fact that soon Jones will begin to pay his more than $1 billion debt to families. Now, there will not be a new auction, and the judge is leaving it up to the trustee who oversaw the auction to determine the next steps. Your reporter in studio, Olivia Schuler, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
So yeah, there's no going back now. Whatever entity ends up buying up Infowars will probably be a right-wing, extremely wealthy, able to pay out massively institution that's probably going to bring Infowars back as it was, and probably even bring Alex Jones back as the host. So Infowars and Alex Jones as host of Infowars are probably not going anywhere. At this point, it seems like they're forcing the highest bidder to be the one who buys. They're going to make it so whoever bids the highest is the one who buys, because that was the issue here, was that the Onion was not making the highest bid and was trying to lock in legally the purchase when there are higher bidders. And so the Infowars managed to break out of the Onion's claim and is now able to pursue a purchase from a higher paying, probably sympathetic conservative organization. So now it's a matter of whoever gets Infowars next, or whoever gets Infowars now, is whoever can pay the most, and it will be a conservative Jones sympathetic outlet, almost certainly. Now, I know that this is pretty shitty news. I know it sucks. It really does. I don't think anybody here is happy about this, but I do have, I don't know if I'd call it a silver lining, but I guess something that maybe reduces the amount of mental damage you just took from this news. And that is that I don't think that, besides the moral victory, and we don't seem to be having a lot of those as a country lately, there really wasn't much of a tangible win from Alex Jones losing Infowars. Like, Alex Jones already had a very niche following. Like, a very large one and a very dedicated one, but one that is already dedicated to seeking him out on the deepest corners of the internet. I've always thought that you could take the platform from Alex Jones, but you can't separate his audience from him. They will follow him anywhere. They will find ways to support him, and they will never, ever stop. We will never not have a prominent Alex Jones, because his followers will always support him, no matter how banned or pushed away from mainstream he becomes. And so fundamentally, I don't think that him losing Infowars really would have made a big difference. I think it would have just kind of been a spiritual win of sorts. And yes, that's a spiritual win we've been denied, but at the end of the day, I don't really think anything has tangibly changed. But I guess the biggest difference is that now conservatives have more to celebrate about. Rush Limbaugh destroyed many a family before he finally choked to death. Yes, he did. Alex Jones is the new Rush Limbaugh in a lot of ways. It's actually fair Fantasyland shit. Yeah, I do think that we need to realize that a lot of these conservative pundits have grown to the point where they will always have a religiously supportive fan base. And with a religiously supportive fan base, you can do, in the modern world of politics, anything. I am predicting now, and many others are as well, that Aiden Ross is getting a position in government. It's going to happen. Aiden Ross is gonna get a position in government. Like, Trump has personally thanked and met with Aiden Ross numerous times, and even personally thanked Aiden Ross for being one of the biggest reasons he won the election. Aiden Ross is definitely getting some kind of government position. This is the power that being a prominent conservative pundit provides to you now. And Alex Jones is now is honestly a messiah in regards to that position. He is never going anywhere. And it's unfortunate, but as long as there are crazies who are this dedicated to their ideals, Alex Jones will always be their best representation until he no longer exists anymore. And even then, you're going to see clips of Alex Jones in like 30 years, well after he's retired or dead or whatever. You're going to see clips of Alex Jones that'll be like, you'll be able to visually tell how old they are just from seeing them. And they're going to be getting shared on social media in 20 years. And people are going to be like, man, if Alex Jones was around today, he'd be calling out this craziness the left is doing, and America would be seeing the truth. That's how they're going to talk about him, just like they talk about Rush Limbaugh now. Aligning with Trump is the ticket to success. A lot of them see it that way. Trump has lied to the American people, telling them that their side is the side of winners, and at a certain point, if you're told enough that this is the winning side, don't be on the loser side, don't be a loser, then you're going to go for the side that's telling you they're the winners, and the prophecy fulfills itself. Americans don't want to be on the losing side. Americans will vote for someone just because they think that's the person who's going to get the most votes. Hell, they'll vote for someone because they think the person who's probably going to get the most votes must be the best candidate. And that's the logic and vibes that a lot of people voted for Trump on this election. George Carlin would be hella popular right now if he didn't pass away in 2008. Conservatives talk about Rush Limbaugh and will talk about Alex Jones like people talk about George Carlin. Hell, they talk about George Carlin like that. They say, man, if George Carlin was around today, he'd be ripping the left a new one for all their crazy woke nonsense. He'd love Trump. Meanwhile, like, George Carlin's own daughter's like, no, he despised Donald Trump when he was alive. He would not like him as a politician. Particularly because George Carlin didn't like any politicians. They don't call George Carlin woke, Lil Tim me. I guarantee you've never seen a conservative call George Carlin woke. I've never seen that once. They try to appropriate him because he's popular and loved historically. Apparently, they have not heard of anything George Carlin said. They pretend like what he says agrees with them. You gotta remember, all the rhetoric of conservatism is lefty rhetoric now. It's like pro-working class, anti-establishment rhetoric. It's just all with the means of getting people to radical conservatism and white nationalism. Anyway. I don't know. I think that Alex Jones, honestly, there's not going to be much of a big difference here with this Alex Jones onion situation. I know it sucks, and the judge is an absolute fuckwad. Genuinely on the tier of the lady who worked at McDonald's that reported the Luigi Mangione guy. I can't with his name, I'm sorry. Chuck Mangione. No, but I genuinely don't think much has changed here. I think that at the end of the day, this is just kind of like a cultural loss for the left, you know? Damn, Alex Jones got the W, he's celebrating. One of the most notorious pieces of shit out there has gotten a W. Many such cases this year, it seems. Many such cases. Regardless, though, if you enjoyed this segment, if you found it entertaining, educational, or somehow enjoyable, I doubt that considering this has been a pretty grim topic, then please consider leaving a like on the stream or the video when you're watching it, and a comment as well. Every like and comment goes a long, long way to boost my channel in the algorithm. In fact, it's the best way to boost my channel in the algorithm, and it's totally free. So likes and comments, they really mean a lot. Thank you to everybody who's hit that thumbs up button, especially live. If you haven't already, what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Hit the thumbs up button, do it. Like, right now, do it. And subscribe and ring the bell icon if you haven't already as well, so that YouTube tells you when I go live or upload a new video, and follow my social medias linked down below in the description, especially joining my Discord server and following me on Blue Sky. And of course, finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, and you can afford it and you feel like it, then consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub to me on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or perhaps even buying some merch through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you so much for watching as always, and have a good one. Ugh. My nose was so itchy towards the end of that segment there. Huh. Nature has a way to cull stress on the ecosystem. Time to watch everyone fall off, lol. Move to Australia? What? Music fitted? Hell yeah. Dude, WoW has a great soundtrack. A fantastic soundtrack. Honestly. There we go. Now I've got a whole playlist of music and ambience that's gonna go on a loop through it's a whole playlist of different music from WoW. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Yo, War Penguin, thank you so much for the 5 tier 1 gifted subs. Hot damn, thank you for the $25 dues. That is immensely generous of you. Thank you, thank you. I hope Everglow, Elysian Spirit Shield, Borealis, and Tostito Man 9000 and Sorlim all appreciate their free blue names. Welcome to the Blue Name Club, guys. I hope you like it. Fuck 2024, useless ass year. I have now, so 5 people get a slightly worse year. Well, you mean a slightly less worse year, I think, War Penguin. Thank you for the $5 dues. I really appreciate it. Or $25 dues, my bad. I would never undercredit you, War Penguin. I would never do such a thing. And Bango the Buck with the tier 1 sub, thank you. I really appreciate that. It says, hey Zan, I took a break from political content for a while after the election, but I feel like I'm in a good enough headspace to talk and consume politics again. I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm imagining that a lot of people on the left are going to go through the same kind of cycle, where they'll be back and feeling ready to fight in like the coming months, especially by the inauguration and by the time Trump is actually doing awful things with policy while in office. So, yeah. I mean, the channel's been blowing up recently, but I'm expecting it to blow up even more post-Trump, like, taking office. It's kind of like the grim silver lining to Trump's election as well. I guess we always knew that the channel's gonna definitely benefit if Trump wins. It's not what I want to happen, but I guess there's that silver lining, and I won't complain about it. It is my job to complain about the insane people in government, and there's about to be a lot of insane in government. But then again, I'm scared about it as an American, because I have to live here. I like the Elder Scrolls and Skyrim music, Larry Banks 78, but man, do a lot of streamers and YouTubers use Skyrim music in their videos, and I feel like less people use WoW music, despite it being at least as good, so I just opt for WoW music instead of Skyrim music. Oblivion is Elder Scrolls, Wingo. It's part of the Elder Scrolls franchise. Hey, Zan. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Thank you, Bango the Buck. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. God damn, let me update the dono goal then. Thank you for the support, everybody. I said Skyrim and Elder Scrolls because I was reading a message that said Skyrim and Elder Scrolls, Wingo. Xanderhall, did you know after a president is in the presidency that has a depression, the other party wins the presidency, the House and Senate for 20 years after? There were 3 previous depressions. A Democratic did, and the whiffs won for 20 years. A Democrat did, and Republicans won for 20 years. Republican did, and Democrats won for 20 years. Yeah, I imagine Trump's going to crash the economy really hard, and if Americans aren't too stupid, then it could be the end of the Republicans, yeah. But maybe Americans are too stupid to, like, remember in 4 years, or 8 years, what Trump did to the economy over the course of the next 4. They might do the same thing all over again. I prefer Stardew music. The Stardew music is pretty great, yeah. Pretty sure Americans are too stupid? I will never underestimate the stupidity of Americans. Or at least I'll try not to. Alright. Let me bring up the next topic. Alright.
Surprise! This.
Alright. Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. Alright, everybody. This is some wild, wild news. Holy crap. So, Legal Eagle has announced that he is suing the FBI and DOJ, Department of Justice. I have no idea what for. I have no idea what spurred this on. It might have something to do with Trump. It might have something to do with, like, I don't even know, mishandling. It might have to do with, like, mishandling of the investigations into Trump. Because they honestly should have borne out proper litigation and, like, sentencing years ago at this point. and now we have like a genuine danger to the country who has taken office. Maybe that's a valid reason to sue. I don't know why he would be suing the FBI and DOJ. I don't know, because he would presumably be suing this current one, but we'll find out. We'll find out. I have not watched this video. I have not been spoiled. I have been sent this, and I just found out about it right before stream. So I'm going into this as surprised as most of you guys are. Let's get into this shit. This has got to be crazy. What is going on, man?
This has been in the works for a while, but I can finally announce that I have sued the government
for a while.
Surprise, surprise.
To obtain all records related to the government's investigation of former President Donald Trump for retaining classified documents and trying to overturn the 2020 presidential election.
I was right. I've had the same... Okay, so the reason why I assumed that that's why he'd be suing is that the DOJ and FBI dragged their asses to like an unprecedented degree with Trump. Like there were so many points at which their incompetence failed to keep someone who tried to overturn our election and destroy our democracy from receiving proper justice. This is just a thing that is a fact. And meanwhile, Trump coasts on the idea that it was lawfare against him and it was unfair, all the while he actually had very valid reasons to be, like, investigated, and they did not go as hard as they should have. Because you got to remember, everything that Trump and the Republicans in MAGA say, the opposite is true. When it's legal lawfare against them, the reality is they're being rightfully pursued legally, and they're actually being treated with kid gloves. And that anyone else would be treated way harsher. They're getting special treatment. That is what's actually happening when they say they're being oppressed. So I just kind of had the intuition, I guess. Let's get into it.
Look, Donald Trump won the 2024 presidential election fair and square. We assume.
True.
And that means that the criminal cases against him are over, or at the very least are stalled indefinitely. So why would I do this now when Special Counsel Jack Smith is winding down both of his cases and Trump will return to power in January? Well, in the words of Supreme Court Justice Louis Brandeis, sunlight is said to be the best of disinfectants. In that vein, I, along with my co-counsel, believe that the American people have a right to know what the Department of Justice and the FBI discovered when they investigated Donald Trump. And so we filed a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia to challenge the DOJ's failure to process two FOIA requests for this historically important information. Then the next chapter of the USA will be dominated by questions about the rule of law, secrecy, and government corruption.
I'm gonna be honest, as much as I like this lawsuit and think it's valid, because, like, fuck the FBI and DOJ for not, like, going hard on Trump like they would have anyone else in Trump's position, but at the same time, I hope you guys know that Americans are so stupid that even if every last bit of classified documentation of this entire investigation was out there, it doesn't matter how damning it is. It doesn't matter. They will not vote differently. Like, MAGA won't vote differently, and the American people are stupid, and they actively delight in running away from being educated or learning about things, especially, like, things that pertain to their ideology, things that could challenge their ideology. So I think it would have had the exact opposite effect if these things were out. I think Trump would have won by more votes if this info was out there, because the media would have reported on it, and Trump would have used it to polarize Americans against the media and the establishment even more. The more that Trump was pursued legally, the higher people's approval ratings of him went up. Americans liked Trump more and approved of him at a higher rate after every single legal battle he fought, including when he was found guilty of 34 felonies, because Americans see him as an outsider, and this constant litigation feeds into this narrative he's played of they're going after them. They're oppressing him and trying to litigate against him because he's fighting for them, and this is the establishment who only fights for themselves, and he's the outsider.
We just witnessed Trump's Attorney General nominee go down in flames because of an ethics investigation involving his sexual activity with underage girls. Unfortunately, we can't access those records because Congress is exempt from...
Remember, Gates and Trump aren't the same person, okay? Not the same person. Vance and Trump aren't the same person. Anything that... All these things that would destroy Vance, Gates, any of these people, MTG even, would not destroy Trump. Trump is untouchable. Nothing will ever destroy Trump's reputation.
FOIA. But the Department of Justice and the FBI are not.
Except for Trump. Trump is the only one that can hurt his own reputation. And even then, he has to really try.
Believe that their failure to process these FOIA requests is illegal, and so we're taking action. Now, Special Counsel Jack Smith is winding down the prosecutions against Donald Trump due to the long-standing Department of Justice policy that prohibits the criminal prosecution of a sitting president. This policy also found root in the Supreme Court's decision that Donald Trump enjoyed broad immunity from prosecution, lest these troublesome prosecutors undermine the executive branch's ability to perform its constitutionally assigned functions. Official functions like pressuring state officials to find you just enough votes to ensure victory. Now, Smith...
We're the party.
We're the party of law and order. Law and order, folks. That's what we're all about. We love the cops. We love the law. We're going against the criminal Biden family. But also, nothing can stick to me, and I can do whatever I want, and I need full immunity from the law, because we're the party of law and order.
And then they vote for him, because that makes sense to Americans. That logic lines up without a single bump or flaw in the American mind. Genuine, like, cave people. We're cave people.
Requested the federal courts dismiss both cases about Trump without prejudice, which means the case could be refiled if and when Trump is out of office. But there are numerous statute of limitations problems, and Trump may very well just pardon himself. And so Smith will resign from his position before Trump takes office, along with an unknown number of attorneys who worked on the case. And as the Washington Post reported, Trump intends to fire all the lawyers who worked with Smith, including career attorneys typically protected from political retribution. So there's already an effort underway.
That's right. Trump's going to be ousting everyone in the government who dared to stand against him. There's no, like, guardrails for Trump for the next 4 years. Not one.
To rewrite history and deny reality. That's why it's critically important to act now to capture the complete record of the federal prosecutions before the records are destroyed, altered, or God knows what the new administration will do with them. And the Freedom of Information Act executions before the records are destroyed, altered.
Photos show handwritten notes that Trump apparently ripped up and attempted to flush down the toilet. In court, right? So these were notes Trump was taking in court, ripped up and tried to flush down the toilet? Well, wouldn't it just flush? Why would there be photos? I don't know if that's real. Maybe it is, but I don't know if that's real. That seems a little out there, but man, maybe. Trump is pretty retarded.
Or God knows what the new administration will do with them. And the Freedom of Information Act is the legal vehicle that allows us to accomplish this, and it serves all Americans. It is indifferent to political party or ideology, and FOIA is the sunshine that Justice Brandeis spoke of, and we must act now to have any hope of seeing its light. Now, public trust in government is at an all-time low. In fact, Donald Trump made this a cornerstone of his campaign. And Donald Trump made it clear that he expects his new attorney general to bury the entire Smith investigation, and this may...
Something that we gotta recognize is that part of American culture is that you always have to be against who's currently running the country. And I don't know if this is going to follow through with Trump being in office. I think it'll mostly be MAGA that simps for him hard, but that most Americans will go back to the status quo of whoever is currently in charge sucks and is bad and does not care about Americans. And in this case, it'll be true. But this logic follows through regardless of what administration is in power. There's been very few exceptions where the American people's vibes have actually aligned with reality. And it really does feel like a core tenet of American culture is being against the government and against the establishment. And it doesn't matter what the government or establishment is doing, you just have to be against them. And whoever's in power is going to be the one holding the hot potato.
May include rewriting or shredding the historical record, or even calling upon the Republican-controlled Congress or his cronies in the Supreme Court to prevent the American public from exercising their legal right to access these critical documents. There's also a serious concern that once the president's allies get what they want from the records, the DOJ won't see a need to continue preserving them. So that's something that we're trying to protect against as well. And that's the core of our lawsuit. The American people have a right to access these documents, as granted by FOIA, and we believe that the DOJ and FBI are not honoring their legal obligations. If nothing else, our lawsuit puts the sword of Damocles in the form of a contempt of court sanction over anyone who decides to power up the metaphorical shredder after giving the data to Trump's allies. So it's imperative that we get to see all of Jack Smith's records as soon as possible. So on November 22nd, 2024, I filed a lawsuit against the Department of Justice and its components, including the FBI, the Office of Information Policy, the OIP, and the Special Counsel's Office, the SCO, for failing to expedite my FOIA requests. And in fact, you can read my lawsuit by clicking on the link down in the description. Now, obviously, if you're going to sue the federal government, you'd want a great lawyer, and luckily, I think we are. But even if you're not suing the government, you want your own great lawyer, and my law firm, the Eagle Team, can help. If you've gotten in a car crash, suffered a data breach, or are dealing with almost any injury, we can represent you or help find you the right attorney who can. Because it's so important to talk to a lawyer right away so you can get the...
I will say, how this case goes would be a massive advertisement for the Eagle legal team. You know, like the Eagle Team thing that he's sponsored by, or he sponsors himself with here. I feel like if he wins this, it's like, well, damn, he successfully sued the DOJ and FBI. Maybe his sponsor or his company, his legal firm, is legit.
The best representation and find out what your options are. So just click on the description or call the phone number that's on screen for free consultation with my team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle Team. And now back to the lawsuit that the Eagle team has filed. Now, our first request was to the OIP. The OIP is the office that handles FOIA requests for the SCO, and the request includes records maintained by the SCO related to the investigation of Donald Trump and emails of the SCO personnel relevant to the investigation. And central to my request for expedited processing was offering many concessions to ease the review burden, such as excluding confidential or previously classified materials. After all, time is of the essence here, and the bureaucratic lift needed to honor FOIA requests like this is not lost on me. Plus, a request for all records with no exceptions would likely be considered overbroad. More on that later. And well, wouldn't you know it, the OIP responded, and they refused to even process the request. Their response letter indicated to me that they hadn't actually read the request and instead treated it as a request for all records, no exceptions. And the fun part is that they went out of their way to illustrate that they have 1.7 million emails to chew through. You guys, please read the request. I went out of my way to make your jobs easier. This isn't that hard. And for my friend...
Man, can you imagine how much worse this shit is going to get under Trump? Like, trying to do anything like this? This is going to be so much harder when Trump takes office. I really don't know how this is going to go. This is going to be fucking wild to follow. I assume everyone's down to follow this situation as it unfolds, because I think it's going to happen while Trump is in office, and it's going to be... That's going to make things interesting.
Friends at the OIP watching this, and for all of you at home, I cannot stress enough how reasonable, everyday, and typical our request actually is. In fact, in 2021, Jason Leopold and BuzzFeed sued the DOJ for all of the Mueller investigation records and then negotiated with them during the litigation to reduce the scope. So this isn't exactly an unprecedented case. And we shouldn't have to sit...
You know, you push for like a higher demand, and then you haggle down. You haggle down.
The council table to decide on a reasonable scope of records, and yet the OIP is forcing us to go down this road. But it gets worse. Our second request was to the FBI, and on November 8th, 2024, we submitted to the FBI a FOIA request for, quote, all information about former President Donald Trump in the Central Record System collected or created as part of the investigation into him for unlawfully retaining national security information and for his role in the January 6th insurrection, for which he is currently in criminal litigation in the Southern District of Florida and the District of Columbia. We then advised for both requests that the agencies could wait until the investigation was over before producing records. And then on November 18th, the FBI responded. And I'm trying not to take this personally, they denied that I should be treated as a representative of the news media while not addressing my request for expedited processing, which is just rude.
They denied his prominence as a news media figure. You're a YouTuber. You're not real news media. All right then. I'm pretty sure more people are now using the internet for their news than anywhere else, but okay. Sure.
Now, many weeks have passed since my FOIA request and the fair concessions we made in exchange for expedited processing. But we have yet to receive the response we are legally entitled to. And so, we're left with no choice but to sue the federal government. Now, our lawsuit originally included 2 counts of constructive denial of expedited processing. This type of claim arises under FOIA when a government agency fails to act on a request for expedited processing within the statutory timeframe or otherwise improperly denies a request for expedited processing. So, what is my lawsuit seeking? Well, 3 things. 1, a court order for expedited processing of the FOIA request because time is of the essence. 2, injunctive relief to compel the DOJ to comply with the requests. And 3, reimbursement of my costs and attorney's fees. Now, I'm not the only one who wants these records. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton also demanded the records, and Republicans in Congress have even warned the Office of the Special Counsel to preserve them. My guess is that we probably want them for reasons that differ from Ken Paxton, but in the short term, we want the same thing. I think it's really important that these records are released in full so that people can review the entire documents for themselves. And the law states that the...
I agree, but I don't think it'll make any difference, especially now, but it never would have. Like pre-election, if this stuff came out a year before the election, it would have made no difference. Americans are willfully ignorant. Big difference between ignorance and willful ignorance.
Government must provide expedited processing of FOIA requests in cases in which the person requesting the records demonstrates a compelling need. And a person engaged in the publication of news media prima facie demonstrates the required compelling need when there is, quote, urgency to inform the public concerning the actual or alleged federal government activity. Now, countless legacy media news platforms have successfully argued this in court. So what gives here? Does Legal Eagle, being one of the biggest and, dare I say, best law-related YouTube channels, not count as a news media platform that serves the public interest? Well, the FBI doesn't think so, as they have denied our classification as a representative of the news media, and they are wrong.
This is we've investigated ourselves and found no wrongdoing type shit. Like, what? The people you're suing decide whether or not you're considered a valid news media source? That sounds fair.
Obviously, the mission of this channel is to educate people about the laws that govern our everyday lives in a fun and entertaining way, and it's impossible for us to achieve our mission without vigilant and zealous coverage of the news. And in fact, there are over 3 million of you that subscribe to this channel, and the FBI is telling you that you don't count. Now, unfortunately, due to the way that FOIA litigation progresses, we were unable to challenge the FBI's determination on this point at the same time we challenged the constructive denial of the expedited proceeding, but all hope is not lost. We have filed an amended complaint that covers the fee category, the fee waiver, and the actual production of records, while still keeping the expedited processing claims. And at the appropriate time, we'll be asking the court to expedite its consideration of the case as well.
He wants to get this done before the Trump the committee that was investigating Trump has been dropped by Trump when he takes office, because otherwise they're not part of the FBI or the DOJ anymore.
All, we need to make sure that the DOJ and the FBI don't just hurry up and refuse to release all the records. Now, if this lawsuit is successful, then the American public may finally have the answers to many of the unanswered questions about the Donald Trump investigations. Answers to questions like, what evidence does he have that has not been disclosed? What evidence would prosecutors have used at the Trump trial? How did the Trump immunity decision change their strategy? Did Joe Biden ever communicate anything to Attorney General Merrick Garland or the special counsel? And who were the uncharged co-conspirators? And looking at the Florida case, our success in this lawsuit would mean the public having answers to questions like, who else had access to or moved the records? Was there evidence that Trump kept some classified records in New Jersey or in other locations? What about these surveillance videos and audio recordings? What did Trump's advisors tell the DOJ about his handling of classified info? The American people deserve answers to these questions, and we believe that we are legally entitled to them. So even though we are suing the DOJ over these records, it doesn't mean that we are hostile to Smith's investigation. I don't think we're trying to get something from them that Smith doesn't want to release. We've specifically disclaimed any interest in classified or privileged information, and we're trying to help Smith finish the job he started in the least awful way possible. And we specifically said we'd wait until he was done with his report, so we're not even rushing him. Now, for longtime viewers, you might be wondering what happened with the first suit I filed against the White House. Well, these things take time. But there were actually two lawsuits. The first was about the handling of John Bolton's expose, and I haven't talked about this publicly yet because I didn't want to prejudice the lawsuit itself, but we've received a significant number of substantive responses from the FBI, the DOD, and the CIA, including records showing that the CIA was never given any parts of the book to review. And we're in the middle of an appeal of the decision regarding the National Security Council. Now, we always knew that that part was going to be an uphill battle, but one of the points of this lawsuit was to change...
Dude, Legal Eagle is such a neat figure to exist. You know, like, YouTube's brought about some pretty awful people into prominence and success. And that prominence and success has allowed them to gain levels of power over us and our lives that are pretty grim. But there's also been some pretty awesome people who, thanks to YouTube and the internet, are able to gain a platform and do things like this. It's pretty awesome.
The case law saying that the NSC is entirely exempt from FOIA, especially under these circumstances. And we will continue to pursue the appeal to make that change. Now, the second lawsuit was a suit that I filed about how Trump fired a bunch of inspectors general who found corruption. Now, we've gotten a ton of records about allegations of OIG misconduct, yet very few about the ones that Trump pushed out for alleged misconduct. And it's pretty clear from these records that he pushed out inspectors general who didn't do anything wrong and didn't push out inspectors general who did. Something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I mean, he's overtly and openly corrupt. It's going to be all about building a government that will not stop him from doing what he wants to do, and he's going to create a lineup of scapegoats to blame as the country starts to fall apart in the coming years, as it inevitably will.
In mind next time he pushes out an inspector general. And I already have a quick update. The day we filed our amended complaint, the FBI miraculously granted us expedited processing. They like to play these little litigation games. So that's a win for the good guys, and we're one step closer to getting the records. And I'm sure it's because the government is afraid of us. Now, I couldn't have done any of this without the help of my co-counsel, Kel McClanahan, who's one of the preeminent lawyers in national security law. He runs the firm The National Security Counselors, which promotes the ideas that the public needs to be as informed as possible, and that people entangled in legal matters in this field should have reasonable access to knowledgeable legal assistance regardless of income. I suspect that in the coming years, there's going to be a lot of shady dealings that need to be exposed, and there's going to be a lot of government employees and contractors who are going to need help in dealing with whistleblowing and security clearance issues. And Kel and his team are on the job. They operate in large part from donations, especially their pro bono work, and if you'd like to...
This is dope. Okay, here, I'm going to drop this, the link into chat in a second when he brings it up.
Donate to further their mission, they would greatly appreciate it. I already have, and I look forward to working with them in the future. You can check out their website and donate by clicking on the link that's on screen right now or down below, and either way, you can always follow...
Hell yeah. Here, let me drop this in chat really fast. You guys can support... Wait, that is the Discord link. I don't know why it didn't copy. Y'all can support the effort to disseminate these important documents and inform the American people, if they decide to. National Security Counselors. Go back them up. They sound cool. They sound super cool. Regardless, though, this is fucking wild, man. Legal Eagle is suing the FBI and DOJ, and it's not even the first time he's sued the government. Man, once again, like I said, how incredible is it that the internet has, like, allowed someone like this to have a large platform and do these kinds of things? Politics is getting crazy. I'm not gonna lie, it really is. Man, it really sucks that Donald Trump really lived up to his name, Teflon Don. It really does. I thought that there might be something that gets him before the coming election, or before the election came, and I was wrong. Trump managed to delay everything, and everyone was so afraid of appearing exactly how the right already saw them, regardless of their actions. That they continuously treated Trump with kid gloves, as he claimed he was being oppressed and treated harsher than he should be, and people bought his narrative, and all the while Donald Trump saw no justice. You never ever win with people like this by playing fairly or by the rules. You never do. They will just flip the board and wipe the game out once they start to lose. If you start to win fair and square, they'll just cheat. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this segment, if you thought it was good, if you thought it was entertaining, educational, or enjoyable, then please consider dropping a like. Every single thumbs up, whether it's on my live streams or my videos when they go up on their own after the fact, does a lot to boost my channel in the algorithm. It's actually the most helpful way to boost the channel in the algorithm. And if you haven't done so already, please consider it. It really does help a lot. It's totally free, and it means a lot. And of course, subscribing to the bell icon if you haven't already, so that YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos in the channel. And consider following my social medias, linked down below in the description as well, including my Blue Sky and my fan Discord, which is the main hub of my community and fan base. You definitely want to be in there. And perhaps even consider supporting me financially through my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me through Twitch, YouTube, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, buying merch at the Streamlabs link down below, or perhaps, maybe, just saying a nice thing in chat. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you so much for watching, as always, and have a good one. Man, my stomach is rumbling right now. I'm hungry. I'm already a little drowsy, so I'm just gonna have a monster, and that'll help on both fronts, but god damn, my stomach was rumbling towards the end of that last segment. I am making myself fish tonight. Let's go. Red Scare, thank you for the tier 1 sub over on YouTube. I really appreciate that. So kind of you. I really appreciate it. Didn't say anything, but thanks. You're very based. Balder, thank you for the $10 super chat over on YouTube. Says, hey Zan, FYI, in the Bible, heaven refers to outer space. Jesus descended from outer space and ascended to Earth, or ascended to outer space. There's a book from PhD Richard Carrier called Jesus from Outer Space. I've heard of that stuff. I don't believe in it. It's the theory that Jesus was an alien. I've heard of it, and I've heard of that guy. He's not very well respected in the history realm. He's the kind of guy that goes on Joe Rogan as a guest a lot. Is a good way of putting it. You guys excited for Game Awards trailers? It'll depend what comes out. I'm not, like, expecting any of the games I'm hyped for to have trailers at the Game Awards, so we'll see. You just ordered a burger. I am jealous of you, Highberry. I would love a burger. Alright, guys. Before we move on, very quickly, I am going to go use the restroom and grab my Monster Energy from the fridge so I can boost myself awake and not feel quite as hungry. Because god do I feel hungry. I will be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. Wait, wrong thingy. I'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Whoa! I'm back! Hello, hello! It is so good to see all of you. Balder, with the $5 reduce, thank you, said it's not Jesus was actually an alien, but if you use modern terms, that is how it would work out. He says Jesus didn't exist and was an angel in Jewish theology. It's an interesting theory. It's an interesting theory. Alrighty. It is time for me to crack this Monster Energy open and take a sip of God's nectar. What music is this? It is one of the starting zones called Elwyn Forest in World of Warcraft Classic, which not only have I been playing a ton of lately, but I also started a guild that I encourage you guys to join in Classic WoW. Did they ever put out, like, a proper Classic WoW trailer I could show you guys? Oh yeah, they did. Oh yeah, this trailer was funny. Alright, I want you to imagine, people have been asking for years, Blizzard, please, let us play Classic Vanilla WoW. You shut down all the private servers people make. They have tons of players. People clearly want it. Someone asked for it at BlizzCon. And then that one guy was like, you think you do, but you don't. And the internet had a massive outrage over that. They proceeded to shut down Nostalrius, the biggest Classic WoW private server there was. But instead of that being the end of the story, Blizzard was like, you know what? Hey, you guys who made that private server, Nostalrius, and a bunch of those other private servers we shut down, you want to work for us? Because you guys basically recreated and operated Classic WoW independent, like as independent teams. Would you like to do this with our support? And that is how we got Classic WoW, is that Blizzard hired the fans who created and maintained private servers, particularly the biggest one, Nostalrius, which Blizzard did shut down, but in exchange, most of the people who worked on Nostalrius got to make this, the official World of Warcraft Classic. And oh my god, the nostalgia is great. You don't even need to be nostalgic to enjoy it. I've got some friends who are playing WoW Classic blind for the first time they're playing WoW, and they're hooked. They're so hooked. It's so validating to see that you get someone who has no WoW experience, and you put them in Classic WoW, and they get to like level 5 and they can't stop playing. It's such a good feeling. It's like, yeah, it is that good. It's not just rose-tinted goggles. It is that good. Here's the trailer they put out back in the day, back in 2019 when they released Classic WoW.
Someone once said that you can't go home again.
You think you do
but
what you know?
They lacked vision. And a temporal discombobulator.
Why'd they start a Legion? Downside is real. Roll it all back. Roll it all back. Roll it all back. I love Classic WoW. It's so good. And so is Burning Crusade and Waddle K, but man, Classic's got the sauce, bro. It's got the fucking sauce. They don't make games like Classic WoW anymore, and it's a fucking tragedy. But at least we have Classic WoW forever. Thank you for the $5, by the way, Balder. I appreciate it. And Pepper T21. Thank you for the $5 redues. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Says, depends on what they mean by space. Ancient Hebrew text refers to an ocean above the firmament and below the firmament, though that's not real, but I can see that being a primitive view of space. Yeah, potentially. You could, like a sea of stars, right? That's what they call it in FF14. Genuine question, why do people like MMOs? It would be hard to tell you why if you haven't played one. Several different reasons. The biggest reason why people enjoy MMOs is that no other game facilitates friendship, bonds, and cooperation like MMOs do. You can't get far in a proper MMO without cooperation with other players and actually building some level of a bond. MMOs are a game, like a type of game that force you to make friends. And I feel like that's a big part of why MMOs are either dying or moving away from that old classic design, is because you guys, millennials and younger, hate social interaction, hate talking to strangers and making new friends. And so if you want to break through that social shell, Classic WoW is actually a surprisingly great way of doing so, because there is a point in which you can't do shit anymore if you don't go make friends or get out of your bubble, because there's so much stuff that requires some level of cooperation, from dungeons to quests that require multiple people working together, to sharing tags, to just meeting a random person and they heal you before you die, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, thanks, man. And they're like, no problem. And maybe you send a friend request and they accept, and now you've got a bro to play the game with. And then, of course, an MMO like Classic WoW has a very big, in-depth, detailed, rich, lived-in, well-designed world. And it's fun to explore. Like, playing an MMO with a big-ass world like Classic WoW, it is fun, especially as a blind new player, to just explore, because you're constantly discovering new things, new areas. You're constantly going to be blown away at how big the world really is, because you'll have, like, a mental map of how big you think the world is, and it'll constantly start to grow as your eyes are opened to the reality, and you start to, like, realize how truly big of a world it is and how much there is to do. And then, of course, there's the fact that you do a lot of player progression. There's a lot of focus on day by day, incrementally but meaningfully increasing your character's power. Every single number increase you get in, like, your damage or how much damage you can take matters. Like, there's a piece of gear you got that you worked for that made that, like, 2% increase in, like, agility. And that may not sound like much, but man, when you notice that you're crit hitting more often, you feel it. And it feels good. I don't think my PC is strong enough. What? You guys know we're talking about vanilla Classic WoW, right? It came out 20 years ago. Everyone here's computer is strong enough to run it. If any of you have been resisting joining the WoW guild because you think that your PC won't be good enough, get that idea out of your head. This is Classic WoW we're talking about here. You don't have anything to worry about, I assure you. You could run this on a 15-year-old laptop. Agility, not speed, decides crits? Yeah. If you're using melee, agility is what decides your crit chance. Or it's a large part of it, agility. I like the big world and player progression, but talking with fellow players is not for me. Also, I play too many games to justify a 15 a month for one game. Fair. My Costco pre-built can definitely run WoW. Yes, it can. Yeah, for sure. WoW Classic. WoW Retail is different, but WoW Classic is goated. So the takeaway is WoW can run on a potato. Yes, it can. And it can look really pretty if you crank the settings, but the base settings are the lowest settings are the base settings from back in 2004 when the game came out. So you can drop the settings down. It'll look how the game intended to look back in the day, and you'll run it great. and you can probably run it even higher settings. You can enable RTX if you want, and really go crazy with it if you got a great PC. But if you just set it to the lowest settings, you'll go to the default of 2004's graphics, and you'll be fine. On anything. The next generation will be putting classic WoW on a toaster, just like we put Doom on everything? Yeah. I wonder if it can run with an old CRT monitor? It can. Yeah, you gotta set the settings, but yeah. Yeah, it can. And that would probably be the ultimate nostalgic way to experience it, is on an old CRT monitor. How do you like your tacos? With lettuce, tomato, a little bit of shredded cheese, beef, and usually a soft shell. I like some nice seasoned ground beef. That's how I like my tacos. There you go. Tomatoes are gross? No, they're not. I love tomatoes. I don't know where y'all are coming from who hate tomatoes and ketchup. That shit is awesome. I love tomatoes, dude. They're great. Tomatoes on a burger? One of the best parts of the burger besides the meat. I hope Zan plays Warframe one day. I want to see how long he'll last in a survival mission. White person taco night kicks ass? Hell yeah, Canada's Joel. Yes, it does. Did someone just tell an Italian tomatoes are gross? That is true. I love tomatoes, dude. They're great. Anyway, Busy Pumpkin, thank you for the 3 tier 1 gifted subs. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the $15 dues. You're so kind and based. I hope Supreme Peasant, Unknown Gloria Meow, and Trans Goddess Rosie Star appreciate the free blue names. Says, man, I'm so tempted to come play WoW, but last time the guild kind of fizzled quickly. Do you think you'll be playing a while? So the reason why the guild fizzled out quickly before was that, I started on a random, just like, brand new, launched, but solidly forever classic server. And as fun as that idea is, there was a certain level of, like, about the fact that we would be locked in at classic. And then on top of that, the Keffels drama, followed by all of the last year's drama happened, like, a month into doing that guild. And so I just did not play a lot of video games after that, because I just had shit going on. I didn't feel like it, you know? And so I fell off on that server quite hard, I'll admit. But when it comes to these servers, or the server that we're playing on now, for those that don't know, actually here, I'll bring up the roadmap. Classic WoW Anniversary Roadmap. So we're playing on the brand new 20th Anniversary servers on the PvP one. And the reason why this is so cool and exciting, beyond just a normal classic WoW launch, is that these servers, the ones that we're playing on, are obviously, they just came out, so we're still in launch phase. But soon we're going to get phase 1 with Molten Core and Onyxia. That's coming towards sometime soon, like pretty early in winter, so we're getting up on that date. I need to get to 60 fast. And obviously we go through all the phases, but then they've already told us we're getting Burning Crusade. These servers are progression servers that just started, and we're on the launch patch. We can lock in and go through everything. So yeah, I do feel bad that I fizzled out on the previous WoW guild, but shit went fucking crazy in regards to drama and the channel and all that over the last year. So, kind of expected to a degree. But we're locked in on this. I've been playing this with Ethan and our friends since it launched about 20 days ago, and I've been playing it a lot. I'm at level 35 now, mostly because I spend a lot of time like fishing to get gold, so I can pay for everybody's mounts at level 40, including my own. And I can already afford like 5 people's mounts at level 40 already. Like, that's how much gold I've got over 500 gold from fishing. Are you done with FF14 then? No. I made an announcement in my Discord stating as such, because I knew that people would like try to think that. FF14 is a very story-focused game that releases story in patches. I am fully caught up on FF14. I think there's one new patch that came out with like 5 new quests in the MSQ, but there's gonna be like, by this time next year, there's gonna be like 3 new patches out, with like more like 20 quests to go through, which is how I like to do it. I like to marathon through that shit. And then it'll be really just waiting for the next expansion after Dawn Trail. We'll be in the pre-patch for that. So, still very much playing FF14, but it's in like a downtime phase right now where we're waiting for new content patches. And it's gonna be for like a year. Obviously, if you haven't beat FF14, then you've got plenty to do. But if you're fully caught up like I am, then you're just kind of waiting for more content. Alrighty. Let's see. Let me bring up the next one. Oh, man. Thank you, Busy Pumpkin. I appreciate it. Let me Let me update the dono go really fast to reflect your kindness and generosity. Thank you. You are unbelievably based for that. Thank you, thank you. All right. Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. Terrible, terrible news, everyone. It seems they got him. It seems they got the guy who assassinated the United Healthcare, I think it was called, CEO. They got him. Presumably. They think it's this guy, Luigi Mangione. There's a whole, like, track of how they apparently found him. They supposedly found his bag at one point that had, like, Monopoly money in it. I think they positively identified the gun. And by the way, I think I was right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did I not say that I think it will be that the gun he used was a 9mm Glock that was probably a proper Glock that he bought, like an actual real Glock made by the Austrian company, with a 3D printed suppressor, and it jammed, and that was him unjamming it. Wasn't I, like, basically correct on every point with my prediction? That wasn't him. They think it was him all along. If you see Luigi at the scene, remember, no, you didn't. No, Luigi was at my house, dude. Like, it's crazy. All the way across the country in Washington, was at my house playing Luigi's Mansion with me, and I will testify that he was there all night. Could not have been in Manhattan. Crazy, right? Crazy how I can definitely confirm that. Anyway, unfortunately, it seems they got him. He was at a McDonald's. Apparently, he went to McDonald's. An employee there, some old-ass lady, I bet, or some old-ass man, some boomer, ended up reporting him to the police because they recognized him. But apparently, he might not end up getting the money. Like, the snitch might not end up getting the promised 80 grand reward for people who gave, like, information on where to find him. Non-binary boomer? Is using they to refer to someone always in reference to a non-binary person? I had no idea.
Breaking news, the alleged CEO killer, Luigi Mangione, denied bail, as many people are sympathizing with him online tonight. The book Delay, Deny, Defend, which is about the health insurance industry.
That was written with AI. There's no way. Wait, when was this released? There's no way. When was it released? Hold on.
Breaking news, the alleged CEO killer, Luigi Mangione, denied bail, as many people are...
Yeah, he's been denied bail, of course.
...sympathizing with him online tonight. The book Delay, Deny, Defend, which is about the health insurance industry's tactics, jumping to number 2 on Amazon's nonfiction bestsellers list. Number 2. Safe to say that book would never have been anywhere near number 2 if it were not for Luigi Mangione.
Okay, maybe he was quoting the book. Okay, so it came out like a long time ago, and he was quoting it with the carvings on the rounds. I was thinking that this book came out following this whole thing, and with that speed, it would have to be an AI-generated book, which is really common. And not talking shit, but the design and the cover here is not super in detail. It seems like it could be the kind of thing that was quickly pumped out with AI, popped off on Amazon. There's tons of fake books on Amazon that are made with AI. Notably, by the way, one of the most dangerous fake AI-generated books that are sold and sometimes go pretty high up on the list when you search on Amazon are AI-generated foraging guides that include mushrooms. These are AI-generated descriptions, images, and advice about mushrooms and what to pick and where and everything. And yes, people have gotten hurt because of them. In fact, some of the books are so blatant about being written with AI, some of the paragraphs in them end with the prompt thing that like all AIs respond with like, message me again if you would like to know more. Imagine you're reading like a foraging guide, and at the end of like the AI generated explanation of what mushrooms will poison you and which ones won't, it says message me again if you would like to know more. Because they were so lazy, it's that much of a copy paste of what the AI said. These foraging guides and fake AI generated books have been a big problem on Amazon, on the marketplace. And that's why I jumped to that, for those that don't know or think I was being deranged by assuming that or something.
Those 3 words, delay, deny, defend, were almost identical to the ones found on shell casings near the crime scene. And on Yelp, the McDonald's, where he was apprehended, has been hit with a flood of 1-star reviews, calling the employees, quote, snitches and rats.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, Americans don't like the insurance industry. What can I tell you? Like, everyone hates it. This is what you have to realize, is that, yes, the fundamental reasons why the left fights, the things the left is fighting for, are by far the most popular ideas in our society, but the right is trying to appropriate it from us. They're trying to claim that they're the ones who are pro-working class, and they're literally trying to pull what the Nazis did, where they used populist, borderline socialist, or even outright socialist rhetoric to gain the support of the people, and then they actively demonize socialism, they actively demonize progressivism and pro-worker movements, and kill them. It's what the right is doing. The same thing that the literal National Socialist Party of Nazi Germany, oh my God, Germany did. I can't speak today.
Jason Carroll is out front.
This Ivy League hottie named Luigi is the Robin Hood that we never knew that we needed.
I listened to Luigi's manifesto this morning 3 times and I cried.
Isn't it crazy that we got a new Unabomber before we got GTA 6? Like, you know that, like, we're going to be hearing the quote and, like, memes referencing this guy the same way that we still hear the Industrial Revolution and its like, we're gonna be hearing that for a long time, I think.
Honestly, it's beautiful, and I agree with him.
At least he left a very powerful message, and he highlighted how terrible the healthcare system is in America. I think he'll go down as a hero in history.
He had been a named suspect for less than 48 hours, and yet, within a fraction of that time, many...
The right has John Krasinski. We've got Luigi.
in the world of social media had already made up their minds about Luigi Mangione.
I'm just eating it up because this is like regular everyday person becoming our hero, our vigilante.
These types of comments.
I wonder if this is going to make like progressives more pro-gun. I wonder if like a lot of liberals and progressives who are in favor of this guy are going to be like, you know, maybe the American people should be armed. Maybe disarming the American people is kind of cringe. Because, like, without the guns, how do you do something based like this?
It's angering law enforcement and public officials.
I don't care your views about healthcare companies, because I don't think they're great right now either. But
liberals' anti-gun beliefs dissipating as soon as they see someone they don't like get shot. Real.
You do not celebrate the assassination of another human being who was just doing his job.
He was just doing his job as CEO of the multi-billion-dollar healthcare company. You don't do that. You don't. I love that I love that they're trying to moralize about it. You know, like they are trying so hard to be like, this is such a problem that the American people are in favor of this. Why are the American people in favor of this? Are the American people just insane, like, bloodthirsty monsters who want, like, to see CEOs die just because jealousy? Or do you think it's maybe because that political policy of we want healthcare that we hear constantly on the left and right, like MAGA and the super Dems, like super Democrat people, all want free healthcare. Everyone wants free healthcare at this point. It really does seem that way now. Everyone wants free healthcare, or at the very least wants cheaper healthcare, or to not be denied on their claims, or to be told they have a pre-existing condition so they're not going to have any coverage for whatever, like, medicine they need, or surgery they need to get, or care they're going to need, potentially long-term. Obviously, there is a problem here, and it's not the millions of Americans cheering on this murder. Clearly, these millions of Americans had a reason for it, and maybe that should be the point of conversation. Not this weird, like, these people are insane. This is literally what's been losing Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh support, and we're going to do a whole segment on that later as well, but,
But interest in Mangione just continues to grow. On X, before his arrest announcement, he had just 64 followers. Now, more than 320,000 and counting. His initial 827 followers on Instagram grew exponentially Monday as we watched. By 3 o'clock, more than 32,000. An hour later, 53,000. By 5 o'clock Monday, more than 71,000 followers before that account was suspended.
Listen, do you think Trump will try to people please and pardon this guy? I genuinely think it would be a possibly winning battle to protest this guy's pardoning. No, you don't think Trump would? I feel like Trump, then again, does he need to people please once he's gotten in for a second term? It's hard to say. I feel like Trump is, like, nonsensical enough that he might do it with how recent this news is going to be when he takes office, and how much, like, even MAGA loves this guy, you know? This guy is going to be treated like a hero in prison? Yeah, actually, though. No, but really, though. But actually, though, he is going to be very popular in prison. For one, he never had anything to worry about. Bro's yoked. He can absolutely hold his own and defend himself and command respect. There are, like, scrawny, nerdy guys who do just fine in prison. He definitely would have done fine. But he's not just going to do fine. He's going to thrive. Because all the people in prison are going to know what he's there for. You know they will. In prison, they're always watching the news because that's the only way to learn anything that's going on in the outside world. So when there's some crazy shit going on like this, apparently in prisons, all the inmates are glued to the TVs as often as they can be when there's some big national headline going around that the world is talking about, because it helps them to feel connected to the outside world and like they're not, like, left behind. And so you know that like the entire US prison system has been following this story and no doubt loving this guy. And when he shows up in prison, he is going to show up and receive applause. I guarantee that shit. Yeah, this guy's going to be popular.
Many of the comments calling for his freedom and calling him a hero.
Hear me on this. He is no hero. The real hero in this story is the person who called 911 and
they're trying so hard They're trying so hard, dude. You know, I do think that this, like powder keg of anti-establishment sentiment reaching what seems to be a fever pitch right as Trump's about to take office could be setting the cultural stage for a very long 4 years of the whole country just ripping Trump's administration a new one. We'll see.
McDonald's.
That McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, where a worker spotted the 26-year-old eating and called 911 Monday, targeted by Mangione's supporters.
What am I going to do? I'm going to stop eating at McDonald's.
It got so bad,
Yeah.
Google had to remove reviews after that location was flooded with negative comments. Someone hung a banner above I-83 with the words "Deny, Defend, Oppose, Healthcare for All," a reference to bullet casings left at the crime scene. Amazon pulled...
who is this made for, you know? Like, what, who... Oh, of course, Amazon pulled the book down. That's crazy. Bezos is like, get this out of here, get this out of here. I do not want them coming after me next, bro. He had them take the book down. That's crazy. Oh, Bezos is scared. Bezos, this is actually just, like, hysterical. Like, actually hysterical. Who are you doing the virtue signaling about how this guy's not a hero to? All of America disagrees. Are you making these statements for, like, the other millionaires and billionaires? Because the rest of the 99.9% of America is watching this and rolling their eyes and cringing. Like, who is this rhetoric for? It's not convincing anyone.
Apparel and home goods featuring the phrase. Online, Mangione may be a folk hero to some, but offline and in person, no shortage of those condemning him.
Healthcare is a mess in this country, but to celebrate somebody's death is sickening.
The people in these higher positions, like CEOs, they need to look at themselves and their company and ask themselves, why are people so ready to condemn us? Why are they so willing to call someone who supposedly killed another human being a hero?
Well,
the people they found who are like critical of it are like, yeah, but also our insurance, the situation with insurance and healthcare in America is fucked, and also these CEOs need to look at themselves and wonder why Americans are cheering for this. They all, even the people who disagree with it, are like, yeah, but it's happening for a reason though. Yeah. Oh man. What's been crazy is seeing libs and conservatives, leftists and alt-righters hugging it out in comment sections over their mutual hate of CNN, MSNBC, Daily Wire, all these outlets, left and right, if you want to call MSNBC and CNN really left, but, you know, in America they are. Like, both of them are mutually getting shit on by all the normal people on all political sides, because we all pretty much unanimously agree that moralizing about how this guy was such an awful person, how could anyone do this? Nobody's on that wavelength of this, like, weird moral, like concern trolling is all I know how to call it. It's concern trolling. CNN's ratings are plummeting. They have been, and they're gonna plummet more from this, yeah.
Some suspect support for Mangione is not all about rage against healthcare, but instead something far more subjective and superficial.
It's the halo effect, like, manifesting in real society.
You really?
Like, I truly believe so. Like, people treat people who are attractive, like, way differently.
People are, like, giving him leeway with this because they are fans.
I think there is some level of that, like him being a good guy, but no. We didn't know what he even looked like before when he was being celebrated. Like, the second that the video came out, all we had was a dude in a hoodie with his, like, back of his head to a camera shooting at a dude in the back. Like, we did not know. In hindsight, it's easy to say, oh, well, people just like him because he's good looking, but we didn't know what he looked like until they found him, supposedly, which was just a day and a half ago. This guy's been the hero since. Granted, there was, like, a CCTV image that came out, like, 2 days after, where you could kind of see his, like, face and that he had, like, a good jawline and stuff, so maybe, like, there is that, but, like, no, people were already cheering for this guy before we ever got a peek at his face.
Fantasizing him a little bit, but I don't think violence should ever be the answer, no matter the circumstance.
Aaron, this could just end up being one of those cases that just ends up capturing the attention of the American people for a period of time. I mean, you look at what's happening right now on eBay at less checks, still selling merch related to this case. And the hashtag Free Luigi Mangione is something that's still trending even at this hour. Aaron.
Incredible. Jason, thank you very much. It was fascinating just to hear from all of those people. RJ Martin is back with me now. He's the owner of Surf Break Honolulu, HNL, a co-living community in Honolulu where he lived with and was good friends with Luigi Mangione, the suspected.
I'm really glad that this story is kind of setting the standard that, like, Americans are totally fine with murder if the person deserves it. You know? I won't say he didn't deserve it, and I won't say he deserves it. But if the American people think that someone deserves it, they're totally fine with someone getting gunned down in the street, okay? Like, this is a wake-up call for everyone, I think. I don't think America's on the edge of revolution or anything like that, but the fact that Americans have been driven to the point where they will cheer on a CEO getting gunned down in the street, that's very different than the last time a CEO was held at gunpoint in the street. Very different. The world was at the edge of their seats hoping the CEO didn't die in the dead man's line situation. Fast forward to 2024, CEO gets his brains blown out in the streets of Manhattan, and the country celebrates. What's the difference between murder and protecting the future? There's not really, like, they can be the same thing. Like, they can be the same. Like, what he did was objectively murder. Like, objectively, by definition, murder.
CEO killer. So, RJ, I'm glad to speak with you again. As things happen here, it's so important to have your input and insight because you know him better than well, many. I mean, most people that were close to him. So, when you see the video of your friend Luigi shouting, entering court today to face these charges, you know, when he was basically resisting and he's fighting and he's screaming out.
Based.
What do you think when you see that? Is that in any way the person that you know?
I'd like to comment on the video of him giving his valedictorian speech.
Yeah, go
that
ahead.
Thoughtful, humble, good listener. That's the Luigi I knew. Somebody who could lead a conversation, but at the same time listen more than he spoke. Somebody who, you know, really cared about those around him and had a larger mind that was socially conscious. Somebody that was.
I love the, like, attempt to make it sound like he was this guy who was, like, a great dude and then he did a horrible thing. And it's like, who is this for? Let's read the comments. Let's read the comments and see what the response is like. If celebrating a CEO's death is sickening, then what is it when a CEO is celebrating with his millions of profit upon the death of his erasure, or upon the death of his insurer, I think is what they meant to say, which he denied. Give me a fucking break. The media needs to stop lecturing us on morality while they sit on their high horses enjoying their gold health insurance plans. The rest of us suffer. I'm so tired of people telling me how I should feel about our crappy healthcare in this country. Don't tell me how to feel. Corporate media is the worst. Luigi killed one CEO. That CEO killed millions. A society that doesn't take care of its sick is a sick society. Poor people get lectures on how immoral it is to unalive health insurance executives, while those same executives are actively trying to kill their customers. He actually doesn't sound mentally slow or lost. He sounds like he is just sick and tired of the crooked system we are all tired of. Who is the real criminal here? He's doing his job, quote unquote, killing his customers for profit as a job? MSM during a school shooting. Well, nothing we can do. Thoughts and prayers. MSM during when a CEO is killed. This person is an absolute monster. Seems like Luigi killed a killer. He was just doing his job, quote unquote, said the governor. His job was to deny care and live like a king. I have no sympathy. They're trying to so hard to spin the story like he's a monster. Luigi didn't F over millions of people's loved ones. It seems Luigi has started a revolution and the ruling class is terrified. I don't know about that, but I love how the media tells people how they're supposed to feel about events. Moral indignation from a media giant shielding a literal genocide. Rich. Doing his job was denying as many claims as possible, which is by extension murder. The guy who died is responsible for significantly more death and pain, no doubt. Face it, the only thing the CEOs will do is raise prices and deny more claims to offset the cost of their extra protection. The CNN wanted to villainize him so badly and uses his friends and family to do it. CNN, Fox, MSNBC, you name it, all are here to defend the 1% ruling class and keep you in line. The more you lecture us on how to behave and think, the more we appreciate Luigi and everyone like him. Stop the suppression. Social media isn't defending a murderer. They are fighting an oligarchy. I see what Aaron is doing, asking about his romantic life, is trying to paint him as an unhinged incel. Oh, really? Do they try to do that? Classic media character assassination. No shot. Do they try to pin this dude as an incel?
It's just good to me and the other people that we live together with at Surf Break.
And so, you know, and I know you've talked about that's the person that you knew, obviously not the sort of the anger and the rage that we saw today. And you said you didn't see or hear any anger or rage, even when he was talking about things like capitalism or housing or healthcare, things that he was had criticism for, but that it was an intellectual sort of criticism, as you described it to me before. He had posted a review for the Unabomber's manifesto online, and that's been available for a while for people to see, right? And I know as part of the book club that he had started with you at Surf Break.
Can I just say, I hope his mom is proud of him. I hope she gets it, you know? Like, I hope she's like, really, I wish she hadn't done that, but also, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Break, you know, he had also put the Unabomber manifesto as something for that group. What did he say about that at the time?
You know,
oh wait, they're asking about his opinion on the Unabomber? That's funny.
We had a lively discussion about the manifesto as a group, a collective discussion, but nothing about it, I think, stood out more than other conversations that we had. And, you know, frankly, I think after reading and skimming part of it, I don't think the ideas in it were that original in terms of, how we're destroying our planet and how we need to reevaluate our systems. Yeah. So nothing about that conversation stuck out. He wasn't upset. He wasn't angry. I've never seen him upset or angry even. Definitely would put him in the chill, like nonviolent category of people.
So last night when we spoke, you talked about his back and how much that was just weighing on him and the pain, and that even a basic surfing lesson kept him in bed for a week. He had to get a new mattress, and police are now saying they think that back pain may be central to what happened here.
Well, yeah, no doubt. He's a young guy who had chronic back issues and something that could have easily been fixed with medical intervention, giving him a full future in life of being... He was clearly a very outdoorsy guy who liked to explore and travel and do active things, and he's a young guy. He's attractive. He's young. His life is ahead of him, and he's got chronic back issues that are a massive problem for him. And he was probably denied... He was probably denied a claim. He probably tried to... get his back fixed up. Westside Tyler had back pains too. Yeah, Westside Tyler, I think, received an injury during his time in service that led to his back pains, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what I'd heard from chat. And he's dealt with back pains for a while, and if I'm not mistaken, he raised the money through streaming for it, because this shit's hard. Like, paying for this stuff is fucking hard. Getting the coverage for this shit is hard. You know, like... And back pain sucks, bro. I've got minor back pain because I slipped a disc when I was young doing something very, very stupid. It's so stupid, it's embarrassing to say. I was like 8. I was at a daycare like type thing that was just this big like gym where you had like a basketball court, there was a playground, just a lot of physical activities to do with other kids all day while my mom was working during the summer. And so I was there, and I was in the basketball court area, and for some reason, probably because I was doing so much exercise that summer, I thought I might be strong enough to lift about a 20-foot long, 10-foot tall metal bleachers. I don't know why I thought I could lift it. I think I thought if I just really pushed, I could. No pain, no gain, right? And so I went for that shit. And then something in my back popped. And then I was on the ground screaming at the top of my lungs. I don't recall moving much. By the time my uncle got there to pick me up, because he was the only one off work, he took me home, and I was like curled up in a ball because I couldn't like uncurl. I was like in fetal position. I was stuck there in the back seat, and I got to his place and I just laid in the fucking on the couch, and then eventually like I went over to my grandma's, and my grandma got me like a heating pad for my back, and like over it took months before I started to feel like better enough that I could like run around and be active again. But I would always complain about this to my mom. And as like an 8-year-old, when your like 8-year-old son is complaining about back pain, it can kind of be hard to believe, I think. Why not to the hospital? Why do you think that guy shot the CEO? I didn't grow up with money. Anyway, so basically, my mom didn't believe me that my back pain was so bad for a while. But for years and years and years, I always told her I want to at some point jump on a trampoline, because for some reason I just never jumped on a trampoline before. And so my mom took me over to a friend's house, and he had a big ass trampoline in the yard. And I was like, oh my god, I'm finally gonna get to jump on my friend's trampoline. And I ran up, I was excited to jump on it. My mom was like, you finally get to jump on one, do it. See how fun it is, right? And I get in there and I do a couple hops. I'm like, I gotta stop. And I got off the trampoline, and I just sat down next to my mom the entire rest of the day. And that was when my mom finally realized, see, you're not like exaggerating or making shit up about this back pain thing. Like, you really wanted to go on that trampoline, and you 2 jumps and you're done. But yeah, I had a minor back pain thing when I was younger due to that. It's mostly better now, but I still get like recurring shit from sitting for too long. Gotta walk around, stand up every once in a while. Streaming can get a little back painy for me for sure. But man, I can only imagine like that sucks. But whatever the fuck Luigi had was probably worse based on the x-rays that were getting shared around. He had like plates in his spine and stuff. Like that's way worse than what I had going on. But man, I had a bad back for a while because of that, and I still do, but man, it's so much better now that I don't complain.
Curious, though, when you talked about his social life a bit, when you and I had that conversation, we didn't get to talk about the implications of the pain that he was going through. Did he date when you knew him? Did he talk at all about his romantic?
So yeah, they did go for the incel angle here. He was just an incel terrorist angle.
Romantic life?
You know, if you are in severe pain on and off, it's obviously going to affect all aspects of your life. You know, out of respect for his privacy and for the surf break community privacy, I don't want to comment at all on his dating or any of the other members dating while we live together.
It's an extremely invasive question too, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't mean whether they were dating. I just mean I know that.
Yeah, mountain bike, I know, but I'm pretty careful. I think I'm fine.
You know, you've talked a bit about the you know, how the back pain that he had could have made it impossible for him to be physically intimate, and that this was something that may have been frustrating for him.
What the fuck? What? Oh my god! She's cringing at the fact that she has to say this. They have a gun on her right now, and she's cringing and upset at the fact that they're making her say this over at CNN. The execs have her at gunpoint right now. You can tell. And he knows.
As they try to understand sort of what he was going through, do you think that this could end up being something important?
He was a sciatica cell, guys. He was a fucking back cell, a spine cell, a vertebra cell. I don't know what word you'd use for this.
I think that pain is something that can change our brain chemistry.
All right. In 30 plus years, when he gets out from his, no doubt, massive sentence he's going to get for first-degree murder, because they're going to make an example out of him, if he ever gets out, I think they're going to hit him. Because this is going to be like the 1%'s big message to the American people to settle the fuck down. they're going to make as much of an example as they can out of this guy. You'll notice that, like, the legal system has been running about 100 times faster for this guy than it did for Trump. For instance, really good example of what kid gloves he was treated with to see, like, how quickly this system moves forward when, like, the oligarchy gets hurt. He killed someone rich, so they're throwing him underneath the jail? Yeah. He's going to be made an example of. He's going to be made into a message to the American people to settle down and never do anything like this again, or you'll end up like him. They're probably going to put him away for the rest of his life, and they're probably, although it's New York, right? Is it New York or New Jersey? I don't know. Which state is it that they want to, that he's getting extradited to? Regardless, they'll probably go for the death penalty if they can. I don't think they can in New York. Oh, they can't? Okay, it's New York, so they can't. If it wasn't New York, they would almost certainly go for the death penalty. There's no way they will find 12 jurors who will convict. They will, Stella. They can. There's plenty of dumb fucks out there that get all like, oh no, all death is bad. Like, those will be the people that get brought in. Yeah. God. What a depressing twist of the story. America's hero has fallen. Many such cases. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this segment, please consider leaving a like and a comment. Every single thumbs up and comment on my videos and streams is immensely helpful in boosting my stuff and getting it out to a wider and larger audience. Really means a lot to me, and I really do appreciate it. Same goes for everyone who hits the sub button and rings the bell icon to turn on all notifications so that YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video. Thank you to everybody who does that. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, consider following my social medias, which are all linked down below in the description, including my Blue Sky and my Discord server. Highly recommend you consider joining that. And of course, if you haven't already and you feel like it and you can afford it, consider supporting me financially maybe by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, Patreon, or buy some merch through the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless, though, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good one. How do you guys like that segment? I feel like it came out really good. Stream's not over, Stinkabut. That's just the end of the last segment. Or that segment, not the last segment. I think you are way too hopeful, Stella. You're forgetting that nothing good ever happens. Like, I see where you're coming from, Stella, but also nothing good ever happens. So, like, I don't know. We just push forward, guys. We just push forward. And hope we don't get injured or deal with any medical issues. Because then we're fucked. Good segment. I'm glad he's not able to get the death penalty at least. Yeah, they can't do that to him. Unless the state of New York decides to bring back the death penalty just for him. That would be really crazy, but imagine if New York brings back the death penalty just to execute this guy. That would be such a massive self-report of what's going on here. Like, no, you're not allowed to hurt those people. Not the super rich ones. Alright. All right. Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. Well, guys, unfortunately, it seems that they have captured and arrested without bail and will no doubt give him the maximum possible sentence to make an example out of him. Luigi Mangione, the guy who assassinated the CEO of United Healthcare, a company that has denied claims from millions of Americans and no doubt led to the deaths of millions of Americans. Health insurance is an industry in America that might be just the most hated out of every industry in this country. And so when the CEO was gunned down in the street, most Americans seem to be celebrating immediately. And as time goes by, it just seems like more and more and more and more people, and I'm not talking about along political lines. Certainly, I would say the left has a higher preponderance of support for the guy than the right, but it's not really an aisle issue. It's the American working class wants fucking healthcare, and they want it now. And they're tired of having to ask for it, and they're tired of waiting. And if they're conservative, in their view, they're tired of their tax dollars going to things usually overseas, like war, instead of paying for something like free healthcare. But they also aren't willing to vote for a Democrat or someone like Bernie Sanders, who has run on that actual policy, because it's too close to socialism. So even the conservatives who say they're anti-working class, at least they don't say that. They say they're against the left's pro-working class ideas. Their reasons are still pro-working class. They're just convinced the left is like fake pro-working class. Speaking of which, by the way, Matt Walsh, a large conservative pundit, made a video called Why the Left is Really Celebrating the Murder of a CEO. And in this video, of course, he, much like Ben Shapiro, another fellow Daily Wire guy, defend the CEO, and they, of course, demonize the assassin, who has been made an American hero by this point. And so, obviously, even among his own audience and Ben's own audience, the response has been pretty negative. In fact, there is a revolt of Daily Wire fans. They're losing subs, they're getting mass disliked, and lots of hate comments. And most of those comments are saying that they have now realized how clearly these Daily Wire pundits are just trying to convince Americans to hate each other so we don't focus on the real enemy, which they refer to as either the ruling class, the 1%, the ivory tower coastal elites, whatever you want to call them. The American people are relatively united on this point, and so Matt Walsh, much like Ben Shapiro, trying to defend the interests of the wealthy and the powerful, I guess they kind of overestimated how married to the ideology these conservatives are. They may be against socialism, but they're not in favor of billionaires and CEOs. All you've done is convince them that socialism is about bread lines and starving to death. They're not against what socialism actually is. Once you start going against the things that socialism actually stands for and not demonizing it as something it's not, everything falls apart and people realize you're not fighting for their best interests at all. You have to convince these people socialism is something else, then convince them that it's evil, and then you say the socialists are evil. You can't say the socialists want this good thing for you and that makes them evil, or you let the whole game away. And Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro they gave away the whole game. It is quite hilarious. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video that may bring about the downfall of Matt Walsh, since we already did watch the Ben Shapiro one. And of course, since this is long as fuck and Matt Walsh is aggressively boring, we're not going to watch a ton of it. We're going to spend a lot of time reading the hate comments. Oh yes, we are. Let's take a look.
Today, the Matt Walsh Show, the left celebrates the murder of a healthcare CEO, but why exactly are they celebrating? Many people are missing the point on this story, I think. I'll tell you what's really going on. Plus, the father of Jordan Neely tries to cash in on his son's death by suing Daniel Penny, but Daniel Penny...
Yeah, we're not watching the opening with his, sponsor segment where he shills and makes money for himself because these people are shameless grifters. So yeah, we're gonna skip to where it actually starts.
After the attempted assassination of Donald Trump in Butler, there was an outpouring of very primal and vicious rage from all corners of the left, both on social media and in the mainstream corporate outlets. And for the first time in American history, the near...
How good is it that these conservative pundits are telling their conservative audience that the thing that they're in favor of is what the left is celebrating, as they claim it's evil and the right is against it? It's not just that this is a wake-up call to a lot of conservative Daily Wire fans that the Daily Wire and its hosts are wealthy people fighting for their own interests and not that of the people, but that they are reporting openly that the right, conservatives, as a ideology, are on the side of the CEO, and the left are on the side of Luigi, the guy who was just a normal dude who took matters into his own hands. And that message matters a lot, because so much of the right's online success, so much of Matt Walsh's online success, comes from tricking well-meaning people into thinking the left is attacking and destroying what they love and care about, and convincing their audience that, above all else, you must hate the left. And now Matt Walsh is letting slip it's actually the left that is fighting for them. Actual wokeification of their fans on accident.
Assassination of a president didn't bring about a period of national mourning or condemnations from Hollywood and academia. Instead, the overwhelming sentiment was, in effect, that Donald Trump had it coming. It continued even after the...
I think the general sentiment was, how did he miss, I believe. That was the thing trending on Twitter that day.
Second assassination attempt on Trump, which led the New York Times to explain that Trump was blameworthy because he had stirred anger among the public. And many other...
Well, the two people who tried to kill him were Trump supporters. They were, well, not Trump supporters. They were Republicans. The two people who tried to assassinate Trump were conservatives.
The publications, of course, had the same basic take. Now, obviously blaming Trump for his own attempted assassination was always demented, but we were supposed to believe that it was acceptable to blame Trump, at least in part.
We were supposed to believe. I love how he always talks like he's one of his audience, like he's just a normal guy. You know, and I love that people are seeing through that now. Like his like slimy, sneaky, like, yeah, we're just fighting against this crazy woke mob. We're just all Americans. When in reality, he's actually a wealthy grifter who's just trying to guarantee his future profits and his future wealth.
Because he's such a polarizing figure. The left insisted they aren't always this bloodthirsty. They said that they didn't want to see every single one of their enemies get murdered in public, live on national television. Instead,
the fuck is he even talking about?
they said they just wanted to see Donald Trump get murdered in public because he's basically Hitler, and Hitler is a special case. Once Hitler's out of the way, they said, then they'd return to being normal, functioning citizens who don't want to murder their enemies in cold blood all the time.
See, once again, the rhetoric is all about how, like, the left is evil and wants to hurt you. And like, a lot of it is them outright telling their fans that, like, leftists and Democrats want to personally murder you. And so a lot of conservatives, they hate you and they obsess with trying to ruin you and hurt you because they believe you want to kill them. And you want to kill what they love. You want to destroy their culture and society because they're told by people like this who have way more platform and money than any of the people they're talking about. They're told that the left is evil. And don't even listen to anything anyone on the left has to say long enough to realize that what we've told you they believe isn't true.
Now, this is a defense that was never believable, but after the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Manhattan this week, even the left is completely abandoning the whole pretense. If anything, the left seems to be gloating over the execution of Thompson even more than the Trump assassination attempt. It's not an exaggeration to say that, we've never seen anything quite like this. They are declaring without any hint of reservation that it's open season on anyone they don't like.
I hope you guys know, by the way, the overwhelming negative response to these videos by Ben and Matt Walsh are from their own fans. So this is him, like, emphasizing to his own fans how much the left are celebrating this. The left likes this kind of thing. The left is in favor of this kind of thing. As a Matt Walsh fan who's in favor of this, obviously, you could only be like, well, word? Are the left the actual based ones then, Matt? Are you letting it slip now? Or, like, have you been full of shit this whole time? There you go.
They are gleefully celebrating the horrific demise of another human being.
Yeah, like Matt, didn't Matt Walsh literally spread the like Paul Pelosi conspiracy theory? I don't never let these people, what like 4chaners would call moral frogging. Never let these people moral frog you. Don't let them do it. They don't believe this shit. They don't actually value life or anything like that. Call them out on it. Who remembers the Paul Pelosi thing? When a crazed Republican broke into Nancy and Paul Pelosi's house and attacked them with a hammer. The video of the attack is out there now, by the way. This entire conspiracy fizzled out once the actual video of the attack came out. And so, like, because when you watch the video, it's like so clearly not what was claimed. But the right made up a conspiracy, Matt Walsh was one of the many who pushed it, that Paul Pelosi was attacked after having a deranged gay affair behind his wife Nancy Pelosi's back. These people, and this guy was attacked and beaten with a hammer in his own home, and they celebrated it. They made conspiracies about how he got what he deserved because he was gay when he wasn't. Even like they did this shit. They drop it. This happened like 2 years ago, 3 years ago now. Probably none of you have thought about it until I brought it up just now. And yet they're the ones who claim, the left are the ones who gleefully cheer for death. And that the right are the moral ones that care about life. And you know, they're not in favor of their enemies or their political opponents being hurt or killed, when it's literally what they are fighting for at the core of everything is to destroy the ability for LGBT people, women, people of color to live equal lives to that of the white cishet male type people, you know? People like me.
Whether you're a politician or a business executive, it doesn't matter. They don't want you fired. They don't want you in prison. They want you dead. And they're being very clear about it now. Former Washington Post journalist Taylor Lorenz couldn't have been any more explicit.
Dude, isn't it crazy how this is just the same script that Ben Shapiro got? The Daily Wire is no different than like Fox News, right? They've just got executives at the top sending the talking points down the line. This is the same talking point that Ben Shapiro used in his video. They have the same script. They got the same talking points. They have to like find some way to cover, but differently.
Whether you're a politician or a business executive, it doesn't matter. They don't want you fired. They don't want you in prison. They want you dead. And they're being very clear about it now. Former Washington Post journalist Taylor Lorenz couldn't have been any more explicit about this.
Yeah, the Taylor Lorenz thing. Like they got orders to specifically focus on Taylor Lorenz in their respective videos. What is the chances that they both choose to talk about this one random, not really all that popular lefty figure whose main claim to fame is like dunking on libs of TikTok? Like she's done a great job at that, don't get me wrong, but that's what most people know her for. What are the chances both Ben and Matt organically decided that her statements were what needed to be focused on? No chance whatsoever. They got their orders from the executives at the Daily Wire.
She posted an article on her newsletter entitled, "Yes, we want insurance executives dead." She also posted an image of party balloons with the celebratory caption, "CEO down." And she wrote that while people
You guys created a lot of new Taylor Lorenz fans, Matt Walsh. I hope you know that.
should murder these executives, it's normal to wish death upon them. Now, separately, in response to a news article about
hold on. I wish death upon people all the time. Wishing death upon people is fine. What do you mean? It's not a crime to wish death upon someone. It's not a crime to wish that, like, a Brinks truck crashes next to you and $1 billion falls in your lap, and you're just like, well, I guess no one's coming for this. Oh. You can wish for that, but if it actually happens or you take an action aligned with that, then you've committed a crime. But what do you mean it's bad to wish for bad people to die? I wish for Putin to die. What, like, is that like bad? Like, I hope that like any minute now we get the news that they took out Putin. Like, I'm hoping for that like daily. Like, is it somehow? I think a lot of people wish for the death of like bad people in the world. I don't think that's like, yeah, we wished for the death of Bin Laden. Like, what are you even talking about, dude? Like, what is this this like weird? It's this weird moral frogging where we're pretending like anybody considers all life sacred. No one actually believes that. No way. Not maybe some like Buddhist monks up in the mountains actually consider all life sacred. But I think we all agree that, you know, there's some life is a little less valuable than others, you know, at least on like a personal opinion level.
Blue Cross Blue Shield recently announced that it won't pay for anesthesia past a certain point. Lorenz wrote, quote, and people wonder why we want these executives dead. She also posted the name and picture of the CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield, effectively suggesting that someone should assassinate her. I mean, there's really no other way to interpret it. This is the same.
What do you mean, Matt? What do you mean there's no other way to interpret it? She didn't say that. Where'd she say that, word for word? That she wanted those people killed? What do you mean? Notice what I'm doing right now is the same thing the right does when they get accused of any type of bigotry. Show me exactly where I said insert group is inferior. Show me exactly where I said that. If the left starts dog whistling more and says to conservatives, point to where I said what you're claiming I said, point to it. Where I say that? All I said was so-and-so. And keep it like the most slogan-based, easy to grab onto, universally agreeable points you can possibly make. One sentence, slogan-sounding, easy points that no reasonable, sane person could agree with or disagree with. Like, I want lefty mottos to be things like, give us healthcare now. I know that sounds kind of simple, but that goes kind of crazy. Give us healthcare now. 4 words. Fits on a sign. It's a very simple statement. You can, like, conservatives and right-wing pundits can argue till the cows come home about what give us healthcare now literally means on a policy level. But if somebody like Bernie Sanders simply ran on, give us healthcare now, nothing else. No explaining how he's going to do it. No explaining what it's going to cost or no explaining how it'll be done. You don't do that. The American people don't really care. And once you start explaining how, then holes start to get poked. Just a simple slogan that people can get behind. Obama won 8 years and some of the biggest electoral wins in all of U.S. history off of change. Change. That's it. No, not we deserve healthcare now. Give us healthcare now. An angry statement. Trust me, you do not want it to be, we deserve healthcare now. You want it to be, give us healthcare now. Trust me. That is how the right, like loud, angry, in-your-face, unapologetic slogans that are also kind of policies, are how the right got to where they are now. It's what Trump won off of. It's what the left needs to start doing if we want to start getting people screaming our ideology from the rooftops the same way they do for the right. You're right, your slogan is better? Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be in your face and unapologetic. Like, don't qualify anything. Don't soften your language in like a way that's meant to make it sound like a request. It needs to be a punchy slogan.
Woman who says you're a psychopath if you go outside without a mask and raw dog the air, quote unquote, but wishing death on healthcare executives.
I love that Matt Walsh is so uncool. He can't just roll with referring to something as raw dogging it, you know? For those who don't know, raw dogging a flight is when you just sit and you stare out the window or just look at the map on the screen on the back of the seat in front of you for the entire flight with no entertainment. It's a challenge that is blown up on TikTok called raw dogging. And it's just, you just take long flights, the longest you can get, and you just sit there like a robot the whole time, purposefully torturing yourself with boredom. And you post like your record of how long you've been able to raw dog a flight. No, I couldn't last. Well, that's why they call it raw dogging, you know? Raw dogging is ancient slang for sex without a condom. Ancient, absolutely ancient slang, guys.
Is completely fine, completely normal stuff. Now, I could spend the next month going through all the reactions like this from the left. It's been relentless. Suffice it to say, this kind of response was not unusual. It's very much par for the course. For example, Columbia University professor Anthony Zenkis, who apparently specializes in the field of social work, wrote, quote, "Today we mourn the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, gunned down Wait, I'm sorry. Today we mourn the deaths of 68,000 Americans who needlessly die each year so that insurance company execs like Brian Thompson can become multimillionaires.
I cannot wait to hear Matt Walsh's response to this tweet.
Then there was this response from somebody.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I figured. Like, you can't actually acknowledge the argument. You just gotta say, see, they're in favor of it. He really expected his fans would just immediately jump on board, huh?
Named Angie, who said that the murder of the CEO had made her feel reinvigorated.
I don't know about y'all, but today I feel so reinvigorated.
Okay, I don't care, because he's not able to make any arguments. Let's read the comments. My mom's friend has been battling leukemia for years, and every month she has to fight with her insurance to cover her life with life-saving medication. She's lost everything because of this cancer. She went from being a homeowner to living in Section 8 apartment. Her medical debt is going to kill her faster than the cancer is. It's not left or right to say that America deserves a better health system. Matt isn't out of touch. He's purposefully dividing us so his team can laugh all the way to the bank. If you watch this and don't realize that Matt Walsh's whole purpose is to divide the poor/middle class for the interests of the rich, then IDK what to tell you. The fact that Matt is trying to paint this as a left-wing issue when there's clearly bipartisan celebration going on just goes to show how out of touch celebrities are, whether on the right or left, with regular, everyday, ordinary people. Nope, you're wrong about this one. Everyone should be mad about our healthcare system. We aren't left-wing for hating a guy whose bread and butter was literally other people's suffering, Matt. I'm not saying you or anyone should be cheering for his death, but you're definitely out of touch with regular people when it comes to the issue of health insurance. L take. Longtime Daily Wire watcher here. The bizarre instance that is just the left celebrating the CEO getting clipped makes me think one of two things about you, Matt. A, you are brutally out of touch, or B, you are mostly just a mouthpiece for corporate interests of the Daily Wire that requires tribalization and fighting between everyday normal people. They're getting it, guys. Yeah, Republican pundits don't realize this isn't as politically partisan as they wished it were. We all hate our healthcare system. We may not advocate for murder, but sympathy for CEOs of these organizations is at an all-time low, regardless of right or left. As hard as you try, you're never going to make this a left versus right thing. A conservative who is suffocated by medical debt because their kid has cancer is going to be just as fed up with the system as a liberal under the same circumstances. 41% of Americans have medical debt. It's not a right versus left, it's rich versus poor. A human life shouldn't be dependent on how good the stock is doing. Your entire business model is getting people to hate each other. Love them or hate them, you gotta respect how this video and Ben Shapiro's video on the same situation have united both sides of the political spectrum to dunk on these out-of-touch clowns. Quote, never thought I'd die fighting side by side with an elf. How about side by side with someone who has denied their claim? I could do that. Not convincing, Matt. People should go French over our healthcare. It is worth revolt. Being rich is blinding you. This is not a leftist issue. This is the we the people issue. I'm a conservative and longtime watcher. You're out of touch. People like you are finally going to drive the poor left and right together. Thanks for showing us who you really are. Being mad at the healthcare system should be an everybody thing. Everyone's celebrating his death, not just a left thing. This really shows just how out of touch you and your team are with normal people. Matt, you're missing the point on this one. It's both sides doing this. In fact, it seems like this has united everyone on both sides. I am $3,000 in medical debt to a collection agency, all because the insurance that I had coverage for wouldn't pay. Absolute BS. I have no damn sympathy for the CEO. Why are you so upset about a mass murderer being put down, Matt? I thought you were pro-death penalty. Lefty here. Conservatives and leftists may disagree on many, many things, but we must not allow ourselves to become enemies. The person with purple hair and a deep voice who's using the women's restroom is not the one denying your insurance claim or lobbying for tax cuts for billionaires while our taxes are raised even higher. We're all being ground to dust under the heel of the ultra-wealthy oligarchs, and it's in all of our best interest to team up and take on the people making our lives miserable. Dude! Man, you gotta love to see it. You gotta love to see it. These conservative pundits, they've coasted off of this idea of making their fans hate progressive policy by making them hate progressive people. But when the conversation isn't focused on the people, and isn't focused on who's doing the celebrating, it's on the thing, the actual thing the left is in favor of or celebrating, then he basically just ends up making a video that is pro-progressive. This is why the right has to be so dishonest and so deceitful. To a degree, they benefit from being able to lie so overtly and having so few levels of accountability to hold them to it. But at the same time, it's a trap. They're in a prison of their own making. If they let it slip, if they make a mistake like this, or one too many of these mistakes, their entire audience, who only supports them based off of lies and false premises, will realize they're actually being tricked into supporting everything that they are against. Most racists online are not racist because they have an internal, primal hatred of people with different skin colors. I was once what current me would call racist back in 2016. And I didn't hate black people. I didn't hate people of color. I didn't hate them. I was convinced that due to crime statistics and undeniable facts that may be uncomfortable, but they are simply the truth and inarguable about crime statistics and stuff, and IQ rates and shit like that, confirm the claims that white supremacists make, and that it's an uncomfortable truth, but that it is the truth. That is the idea that countless far-right people online believe. They have been taught by these people that these crazy out there far-right ideas are harsh truths. And when they start to realize that it's all bullshit, everything crumbles down. Reinforced data bias. A lot of it is data like the 1350 stat that we've all heard, taken out of context to an insane degree. And also, you know, it kind of requires a lot of ignorance about history and criminology to push these ideas. But regardless, they still catch on and they still pick up a lot of traction. But the important point here is that a lot of the people who fall for this stuff do not get to that position because at their core, they hate people that look different. Maybe they have some biases and some cringe like beliefs and ideas. They definitely tend to. But the vast majority of the time, they have been convinced that there is an undeniable, unfortunate truth that they have had their eyes opened to. But that's just not the case. They've been lied to. And when those lies are exposed, everything comes out to the open. And I think that's what we're seeing now. I think we're entering the next era of progressive cultural prominence, online and in real life. I think a lot of it's going to be the fact that Trump is going to do everything we said he's going to do and more. I think a lot of it is that there's always this vibes-based like disagreement with the current administration or whoever is running things right now at any given time. I think that we're inevitably going to see, obviously the pendulum swings a lot, so we're going to see it swing back at some point, probably sooner than later. That's just my prediction. It's my prediction. It's where I see things headed right now. It's the same reason they hate gay people. It's a guttural reaction. No, it's not, Brian Rimlinger. For many of them, it maybe is, but for most, it's not. Convincing yourself that that like every racist or most racists online are just irredeemably like hateful people, you might as well give up on them. What's the point of arguing with them or debating them or convincing them or working in any way to try to get them off that position if they're just always going to be like that because it's internal to them? It's almost always not. Hate is taught. It is taught and it is learned. And the way that it's taught and learned these days is a really weird backwards way of convincing people that the real conservatives basically are the left. It's all projecting of their negative sides as a party, as a group, onto the left, claiming that is what the left is, and then getting people to hate minorities, the left, for things that the right does. It's always projection. From claiming gay and trans people are pedophiles, mind you, it's the American right that defended the Catholic Church all of this time. Hell, the Catholic Church and the church in America has always been conservative and right-leaning. All these, you could go down the list, it's always the crime stuff, the being, oh, we're hard on crime, we hate crime, the Biden crime family. Projection. It's always projection. And once you realize it's projection, you've already been trained to hate all of these things. You've already been told all these things are bad, they're bad, they're bad. When you find out it isn't the left doing these things, but the right, it all crumbles down. It happened for me, and I think it's going to happen for a lot more people, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this segment, please consider leaving a like, a thumbs up on my video or stream, whether you're watching live or after the fact, and a comment. Every like and comment is really helpful to boosting my channel in the algorithm and getting my content in front of new eyes and old eyes alike. It's totally free as well, so thank you to everybody who likes and comments, and everyone who subscribes. Make sure you hit that sub button and ring the icon, or the bell icon, to turn on all notifications if you want YouTube to actually tell you when I go live or upload new videos, because trust me, if you don't, they won't. I can promise you that. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, be sure to follow my social medias linked down below in the description, including my fan Discord, my Blue Sky account, and all my other social medias. My Discord is the main hub of my community though, so definitely join that if you haven't already. And of course, finally, if you want to and you feel like it and you can afford it, consider supporting me directly, financially, by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some merch through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. Regardless, though, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good one. How'd y'all like that segment? I feel like it came out pretty damn good. Oh. Hell yeah. That was the last seggy I had for us today, which is actually pretty good news because I do need to make myself some dinner before it gets too late. I do not feel like staying up super late tonight. I want to make myself some fish. I'm starving, guys. I'm sorry. I am so hungry. I gotta make myself some dinner. Some din-din. I'm gonna make some tilapia. What kind of fish? Tilapia, hi, very. I've got a... Listen, guys. Tilapia is very, very cheap meat. I have 4 pounds of tilapia in my freezer. I hope you guys... I'm not exaggerating. I have two 2-pound bags of sealed and frozen tilapia fillets in my freezer right now. I have 4 pounds of fish. It won't exist next week. I will have eaten all of it by next week. I eat a lot of fish, guys. I'm from Florida, dude. I have a taste for that seafood, okay? The sea calls to me. I smell like the salt air of the ocean, and I get hungry for some crabs or some like just anything seafood when I smell the ocean. I go to the store to only get the discounted products, so my fridge is full of meat. Hell yeah. Tilapia, I barely know her. At least it is low on mercury. Yeah, it's a, tilapia, I think, only eats plants, so since it's not a predatory fish, it's got, like, no mercury in it as well. So you can eat a lot of it, like a lot of tilapia, and unlike a lot of seafood, you don't have to worry about it. Like, if I ate as much tuna as I eat tilapia, I'd be in the hospital from mercury poisoning by now. like actually, though. For those that don't know how mercury poisoning and that kind of stuff works, my understanding is, like, there's a lot of mercury in the water. There's a decent amount of mercury in the water just due to, like, natural contamination and other factors. A lot of it's probably human produced too, but, like, I think there's just always mercury in the water, like some amount of it. But mercury gets really deadly the higher the quantity. And when we talk about, like, how much mercury is in a fish from it living in its environment, it's not like that much. It's not like a ton, like a very small fish. Even, like, it just doesn't have much because it's only getting it out of, like, the environment. It's eating plants, and maybe it gets a little bit of it in its system, but you can eat a lot of, like, tilapia and not have to worry about mercury. But the predatory fish that eat the grazing fish, they accumulate all of the bodily mercury because the heavy metal doesn't leave your body like everything else does. the bigger the fish and the higher up the food chain, the more mercury it accumulates. So like the second fish up on the food chain accumulates all the mercury of all of the smaller fish it eats in its life. And a slightly bigger, more predatory fish eats that fish and carries all that mercury into its body. And so the bigger, badder, and top of the food chain the fish is, the like total amount of mercury concentrates to, in the case of like swordfish, which someone just brought up, swordfish are like kingfish of the ocean. They're badass motherfuckers that kill and eat everything. And so swordfish, super easy to get mercury poisoning from because they eat so many they eat predatory fish, they eat predatory fish, they eat predatory fish that eat grazing fish. And so when you've gotten to that point on the food chain, you got to be real careful. So do I have mercury in my body from 10 years ago? Yes, African, yeah. Yeah, I don't think mercury ever leaves your body. Maybe you can get it out of your body. There might be things you can take that, like, draw it out. Can you remove mercury from your body? Does mercury cause birth defects? Almost certainly. Treatment for exposure to organic mercury usually consists of medicines called chelators. Chelators or chelators. These remove mercury from the blood and move it away from the brain and kidneys. Okay, so I was right. You take something that, like, draws it out. Once mercury has entered the body, it can take months before it is eliminated, mainly through the urine and feces. Okay, so it does leave the body. Okay, no, never mind. It doesn't stay forever. It does leave the body. But, I guess the amount of time... Like if it's a swordfish, it's gonna accumulate a lot anyway. This is slander. I, as a Chinese emperor, have gained immortality by drinking pure mercury. Yes, and eating off of your pewter plates. Makes everything sweeter. If you don't have mercury poisoning, you're not a true alpha predator male. True. 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 Very true. You know what's scary? The boomers grew up in a world where all of the walls were painted with lead and all the cars were filled with leaded gas. And now they run the country. Y'all ever think about that? That, like, the boomers, highly lean conservative, all have lead poisoning of some amount for sure. And now they run the country? I think that's a little interesting. Hey Zan, what's the max damage I can hit in WoW Classic? I want to see big numbers like it's fucking Genshin Impact. What are the biggest numbers you can hit in WoW Classic? I guess it depends. The thing about it is that you could, for like a span of time, like potentially break the game if you min-max hard enough. That's the thing about Classic, is it's a min-maxer's dream. So if you're the kind of person who just likes pumping numbers as high as possible, you're gonna love Classic because it's just like, that's the game. Like, that's what it's all about, baby, is you're doing everything with the end goal of making those numbers go up. To be able to hit harder and take harder hits is what it's all about at the end of the day. And so, a lot this March. And I think you're gonna like the game a lot if you're someone who strives to make the numbers big. I also like making the numbers big. Gonna name my character Eula and hit the cap like it did in Genshin? You'll have to see if the name is available. It's weird, holding lead is extremely safe. It's just when it gets ingested through gas and paint chips. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think holding lead is safe. I think it's like... I think it's like you... Maybe it is, but you're just likely to touch your mouth, eyes, or nose with it, and that's when you're fucked. Because when I shoot, I end up with, like, gunpowder and lead dust all over my hands. Like, your fingertips especially, because when you're loading rounds, you're constantly, like, you're just getting bits of lead all over your fingers, and then when you fire the gun, there's lead dust all up in the air. That's why I hate shooting indoors, because I know I'm breathing in lead. I know I'm breathing in lead when I shoot indoors. I hate indoor ranges because of that, but, you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah. dust from shooting is definitely a problem, and touching the bullets is definitely a problem. So I actually have, it's probably around here somewhere. I need to find my shooting bag. I haven't been to the range in like a month and a half. But if I could find my range bag, in it I have this tube of wet wipes that are special lead neutralizing wet wipes. Lead neutralizing wet wipes. I use these as soon as I finish shooting. And I'm like really careful not to like touch my case or my gun with like, well, I guess I touch my gun, but the case after I close it and lock it up with lead hands, because I don't want to like wash my hands, touch my case, get lead particles on them, and then like wash my hands but not well enough to get lead off, and then eat something like fries and then get lead in my body, you know? I'm a little paranoid about it, but here's like here's a good example of what I'm talking about. D-lead wipes are what they're called. This isn't the same brand as I have, but this is the stuff. It's specifically made to attract, and I think it neutralizes lead. I think it's got like some chemicals in it that react with lead and turn it into something not as dangerous. Where would I get lead neutralizing wipes? I solder pretty regularly, so it would be really useful for me. You can order them online, like on Amazon, no doubt, but I bought mine at the range. They were just selling like the big tubes of them for like $5 a piece at the range, and I was just like, I'll take one. Might as well. Pepper T21. Thank you for the $5 reduce. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Thank you, thank you. Said, Jay Schlatt learns to be an alpha male.
I have an alpha male diet. Now, what does that mean? It means I only eat predators. Okay, do not put a prey animal on my plate. I will not touch it.
Real. Right.
Now, who's the number one predator? Pound for pound? It's spiders. Okay, spiders can take down animals 1,000 times their size. So I eat anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 spiders a day. People are saying that's too many spiders. People are saying you shouldn't be eating any spiders. I'm saying you're listening to the beta FDA telling you need a balanced diet when the natural male diet was spiders.
That's not true.
Made us soft.
That's
now,
not
if you're
true.
interested in the all spider diet, you can check out my website. I've got some recipes for spiders as well as blueprints for spider traps. It's www.alphamalekingsbeeatingspiders.squarespace.com. That's www.
Hold on. Oh my God, that was a huge cock.
I have an alpha male.
That is the best reaction. Not disgust, just surprise. I eat 3,000 to 4,000 spiders a day. Has the same energy as the ducks at the park are free. I have 458 ducks. True. This has to be satire. There's no way this is real, right? We can never know. We can never know, I'm afraid. We'll never know. My favorite Jay Schlatt reaction, hold on, is the duck video. Who's seen the duck one? Here it is. There are a bunch of videos that are this exact format with different animals, and they send Jay Schlatt these as a, like, media share, so he doesn't know what it's gonna be, and they try to surprise him every time, and they got him good this time.
Ooh. No! Oh my God! I almost forgot about it. I almost forgot that we were doing this in this video. Jesus. He frames all of them?
He frames all of them. It got me. Who else got? Zan, how big is yours? Big enough. And sometimes too big. He frames all of them. He frames all of them! I love the way he says it. He says it like he says it with true emotion.
This video, Jesus. He frames all of them?
He frames all of them? I love the way he says it. It's so good. Oh, sorry, I wasn't showing the screen when I... Oh, there we go. I've learned how to use computers again.
In this video, Jesus. He frames all of them?
Good shit. TSW the Shadow Wolf, thank you for the $10 redues. I really appreciate that. So Zan, I want to debate you on one thing. You said, the quote of, if conservative hatred is ingrained, then you might as well give up or something like that. I think that is completely wrong. No, I said that you should give up on trying to change them if you think that it's inherent to them and that their reason for being racist is they just hate people that are different, and that's it. It's just that you're different, I hate you, and that will always be the case. That's not how most racists are. They're generally like quite lied to and misguided. And so I think we should probably acknowledge that fact and operate as though they're not just at their core haters. And, you know, they're just kind of fooled. They're victims of misinformation. Zan, how many segments are left? We're all done for the day because I need to make myself dinner and get to bed before it gets too late. I'm going to be streaming a little earlier tomorrow. Probably going to go live around 2. And then we're going to be doing some gaming after segments. We're going to be doing some Subnautica because I want to finish up the game before Christmas when we're going to be playing through the Hedgehog, Sonic Adventure 2. It's going to be quite the time. I'm quite excited for you guys to be joining me. It's going to be pretty awesome. But yeah, guys, with all that said, I think here's where I'm going to wrap things up for tonight. It has been fantastic having you all out here today. Sorry for the slightly shorter stream than usual. Usually I do like 1 or 2 more topics, but today I want to get to bed a little earlier, and I'm also starving, so I'll make myself some dinner. But with that said, guys, I love you all very much. If I could just stop burping for a moment. Thank you, stomach. Anyway, I love you all very much. Thank you so much for your support today and all the kindness. And yeah, as always, I hope you all have a good one, and I hope to see you all tomorrow around 2 to 3 p.m. PST. See you guys then, I hope. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Oh wait, that's also the wrong. Why can I not use OBS today? Guys, I'm tired. I'm tired and hungry. I don't even know how to use OBS. All right. I love you all very much. Doo-doo fart.